be fine. This is all fine.
So you get up there, his door is shut. Are you knocking or are you just opening the door and blasting in?
It would be terribly rude to just blast in. So I'm going to let Brunhilde do it.
Oh dear.
Well, I'm glad I serve a purpose.
You do, dear, you do. You have a huge purpose. Which is ironic, really, because the rest of you is quite little.
So, good morning.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
Come in. Do come in.
Well, that's a good start. He isn't smeared one molecule thick over the walls.
No, he sounds a little weak, but
To be
He is
fair,
indeed.
anyway.
While continuing to stuff his face.
Looks up at you as you enter the room. Ah, good morning, fellow inhabitants of the inn.
He hasn't grown furry ears and whiskers and goes, Hibat has map if you have coin. Sorry.
His bowl to Hibbard. Do you want some?
thank you, no.
Recommend not.
Trust me, you don't.
Could well be Twitch then, Shard.
Oh. Thanks for letting us know, Shard.
Yeah.
We're not down again, are we?
No,
Don't appear
no,
to
but
be, no.
apparently the Twitch app is freezing and basically being a pain in the ass. Fishy has
I've
broken
admit
up.
since the last couple did on the Twitch app, and it's so far it's okay for me.
I was going to say, did you just do something complicated, Fish?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
You've
It'd be
gone
really good
blurry
if
and
I
your
could
network
turn Wi-Fi.
blipped for a second or two.
Yeah.
Either that or the demons got into him.
That's entirely possible.
Got to him. If you're going to be dealing with demons, then surely at this point the demon has got to him.
Yes. Let's not get into that discussion again. Although I entirely support your
True.
what's the word I was looking for?
No, that's not the right device, and stop it. Okay, I've just started the local recording, so with luck, if it does keep going pear-shaped, we can
have a
patch
backup.
something together. Which will also be a bit of a test, because this is the most multitasking I've done since the
Well,
CPU upgrade.
the Discord server has just alerted me to Hint Plays going live for the second time.
She says, going to the two OBS just to make sure she did hit recording instead of...
Well, no, we definitely did go offline and go back on again, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'll be that. I'm just slightly surprised it's done it within an hour, which is quite impressive. Generally, the way Discord reports, or the way Twitch reports to the bot, which then reports to Discord.
Yeah. So, Hibat is sat up in bed. He does actually have a tray of breakfast on the table beside him.
Right. Okay. Brunhilde. You've always been better at words than me.
Have I? Right, okay. Hello, Hibbert. I'm the wordy one, apparently.
Good morning.
So, you feeling better?
Much, thank you. Yes. To who
Well, that's...
do I owe my thanks for the rescue?
I went down there.
Then you have my thanks.
Well, him, for starters.
I mean, the North Pole Drat, but I was one that went down there and found you.
Whereas, when you say found him, I'm the one who carried him out. But let's not split hairs.
It was
I'm
a
the
group
one who
effort,
didn't
is
go
what
in
we're saying.
sewer.
And thank you all. My thanks.
What, you're thanking me for not going in sewer?
I'm thanking you all for the part you played.
Yes, well, mistakes were made. We brought Leonard out. So,
So, what can you tell us about what happened?
Not a lot, to be honest. I heard a sound, a noise. By the time I got to my door, there was a large thing in the doorway. It hit me fairly squarely on the face. And next thing I know, I'm being dragged out of the building. Carried out of the building.
So, you were punched in the face then?
Yes.
Right. That's, you see, that's a data point. That's something we didn't know before, because there have been disappearances involving, I think, what they call a sedative used to put people to sleep. Punching you in the face does seem to be a much more direct method, so things were done slightly differently on that occasion. Something
I
we
would
didn't-
say punching someone in the face counts as a sedative.
only if you do it right.
I don't think medically it does.
Hold on a minute. You said thing in the doorway. Are you sure it was a person or
HP
Was it a
Lovecraft
hammer?
story?
If it was a person, as I would expect you all right to look, then they would have been ridiculously tall and broad
Huh.
and ugly.
About Ivan's
With
size,
wings.
ridiculously tall and broad.
I suppose possibly someone of his size, yes. But
But with wings.
hideously scarred and distorted and teeth and claws and wings.
Right, okay. I'm beginning to think, you know, that we're going to need to consult with an expert.
Do you happen to know any?
Well, no, but the point is, we don't know bugger all about demons, do we? We don't know what's normal, what's not normal.
I don't think any demons are normal.
Is this normal for demons as opposed to normal? Because
Normal for
normal is
demons.
very different from normal for demons.
Yes, aye, normal for demons.
Now I've read
and
some.
for
Sorry, what?
demonology,
As opposed to demonology A to F.
about demonology.
Well, no.
Right, well, good for starters. But at the
Yes,
same
was this a loaded question?
Now I've read.
At the same time, it does cause us a bit of a problem. I mean, I would have assumed, and this is purely an assumption because I know naught about it, I would have assumed that demons were more a thing that you summon and get them to go and rip people to shreds, you know, like for Victor, rather than that you summon to punch someone in the face and kidnap them. I don't know that that's the sort of thing, you know, certainly in the stories, that's not what demons are doing. They're usually eating people and that kind of stuff.
I mean, that depends on how you define your demons. I mean, I've read some of your pamphlets, and it does make me question: are demons not just people too?
No.
Well,
Very, very few
that is an
people I have
interesting
met.
point.
No.
There is a very good case to be made for the fact that, yes, demons are people too. Which is one of the reasons why I heartily approve of the Imperial Edict against Demonology. The fact that it is hideously illegal and that, you know, you can be burned at stake for doing it. That's absolutely normal and correct and right, and I'm fine with that whatsoever for two reasons. One, because they're bringing bloody demons into the place, and two, because those demons are being torn away from their own home in some other plane of existence, so I'm told, set to work as slaves here in our world, and that is just not on, is it? I mean, the enslaving of a living, breathing, well, maybe breathing, I honestly don't know.
Erdith, the next
But
time
anyway,
you get the urge to ask Brunhilde about
of
any
one
of her pamphlets,
It's
please
just
kindly eat
Oh.
a ferret.
no sentient being should ever be enslaved. Slavery is entirely bad.
Fish, chancellery, okay?
Now we need some fan art for a T-shirt with the phrase "Go eat a ferret."
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
When in doubt, eat a ferret.
Excuse my gaggle of compatriots here, but do you have demons where you're from?
Nobody
Yes.
has demons where they're from,
Well,
unless they come from the world
you
of where the
say-
demons come from. So,
Would you say that what attacked you might have been demonic?
It could be, yes. I have never seen a demon in person, only heard stories. But
Right.
yes, it could have been a demon.
Because we're a little bit worried that there might be something of that nature going on, hence all the questions. We do apologise, but of course it's in your best interests, and we don't want to have to dredge you out from a sewer again.
I am grateful for that. Thank you.
So you've been working on a map, right?
Yes.
How's that coming along?
Well, it's
Yeah,
really
that's
only
worrying.
the upper levels that I've been able to discern. Upper level singular, if I'm really honest. You think that was what they were after?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not normal for folks to go around and try and map out a sewer. You know?
Unless they're on Imperial commission.
Well, I was see, this is the very interesting thing. When Middenheim was founded, the dwarves mined up through the Faulschlag to the top of this mountain, this flat top mountain. But once it was founded and established, the Graf had those caverns sealed off. So they still exist, but are potentially caved in at one end, the other, or both. And I believe that there may be items from those time held in those sealed off caverns.
Oh, so we've got the Warlock hairdresser of Flat Top Mountain. Flat Top Mountain has recently been taken over by the dwarves. So, right. So, you've got these theories, and that's absolutely great. But when you were kidnapped, were you just sort of picked up and taken away, or were you sort of held while your room was searched? And does the demonic figure seem to?
Not cold. You're not get.
Well, there's not cold and there's not cold, and still being vaguely aware of your surroundings. Look, when you've taken as many blows to the head as I have, you've learned that there are nuances to everything.
No, when you've taken as many blows to the head as you have, you just think there are nuances to everything.
I remember really very, very little past the open the door, punched in the face, and then waking up outside whilst being carried away from here. So I really don't have much to say, and I haven't been able to look at my room or what's here since. It is clearly a mess. So clearly
Well,
someone
tell you
has rifled through it.
How would you like some help in tidying up your room?
That would be wonderful. Yes, please. Thank you.
Might I recommend Erdith gives you a hand?
Let me just put down this bowl. Alright. I'll leave it in a corner so it won't get mess on anything. Alright. And then me and Erdith will have a tidy up of the room with you. Also, you can go through, because I'm curious, because I'm rather partial to sewers myself. Is that the only way into these lower caverns? Or are there like other entrances that are blocked off that we can get to without having to go through stink water, quite frankly?
Well, it's my belief, understanding that the what are now sewers were originally some of the tunnels that were dug to get from ground level up to the top of the Faulschlag. and using them and redirecting them as sewers saved on even more digging, as far as I can understand from my learning so far.
So they say, dig a hole.
Let
So-
me just confirm something quickly. The map that you've got of the upper levels is based purely on academic research, not on going down into sewers and drawings.
That is right, yes.
Right. So it could well be that the problem here is that the map that you've drawn may not match the map that actually exists, the tunnels that actually exist beneath us, and that the difference between the two could, as we have previously theorized while you were unconscious, shed light onto the activities of people who are not supposed to be doing stuff down there.
I think I follow you, and I think yes is the answer.
So, do you need people to go in the sewer and help confirm your academic, a cappella stuff?
And all I ever knew, only you.
So, what drew you to investigate the sewers in the first place? What kind of led you on to this? Are there any like texts of people finding things down there that, you know, weren't supposed to be?
Hearsay, rumours, and legends. And I do
Referring
like a
to-
mystery. Things that might be hidden down in the locked off tunnels.
Right.
Oh, indeed. I'm trying to cut through the mystique a little here. What are these things that you found out about? Is there anything in particular, or?
Oh, they're reportedly magical amulets, enchanted weapons, impenetrable armour.
Dwarves know how to build.
Well, dwarves do know how to build. That is how they dug the tunnels to build the city, yes.
Yeah, and they build well.
Here's sort of the nature of dwarves.
Exactly.
Yeah, not really relevant to the conversation, but well done, Lemmy.
Yes. So, just on the rather more urgent point, because, you know, this might all be useful for helping another person who's been kidnapped. Do you have the map? Can we have it? Please and thank you. And where is it?
I haven't, as I was saying to your friend with the food, I haven't looked at my paperwork since you brought me back here. Today has really been the first day that I'm able to sit up and talk.
Well, you know, like we always say, you should walk it off. Perhaps just a little... well, it's only next door. We can give you a hand.
I would like
Would you?
to. I would like to suggest, or to request, in fact, that you use the term companion. There are implications to friend that I'm not entirely clear.
A single solitary tear is going to streak its way down Leonard's face.
Very
Then
well,
stop as the dirt on there just builds up some kind of barricade.
You're very well. Your companion did offer some assistance in going through my but my room is, as you can see, a tip, and I would need to put it back into a semblance of order to identify what, if anything, is missing, including
Okay.
I'll tell you what,
locate the
I'll sit
map
down
you
with
seek.
you. Erdif can read. You're going to have to describe it to me.
Well,
and we'll
it's
try and put things in order of where you want them to go. All right, I'll sit on the floor.
in terms of the document you are looking for, that will be more easily identifiable, I believe, than everything else. It is a picture. It is a map.
How big is it? I mean, we should be looking for small pieces of paper, big pieces of paper, very big pieces of paper rolled up into some kind of scroll.
Exactly that.
No.
Hmm.
Was I not paying attention, or did Leonard's plan involve stage 1 being Erdit teaching him to read?
No.
No.
I do not wish that on anyone. 'Cause
I
I've
think
tried
you're
before
right.
and- It's like
First,
not
I'm going to
into a back
study the
when you've got a broken
Necronomicon.
right. what I'm saying is, I need to have it described to me. If it's a picture,
It's a map.
I know a picture.
It's
It's
a
a
map
picture of
of the
fun.
city.
Yes.
So, but I'm trying to be nice to our friend here.
He'd have
See,
probably
I
got
use the
further.
term friend and offer to help sort the entire lot, even after we found the map. If
Did
we
you
Yeah,
just
but
get
you're not
passive
going.
aggressive that way, Leonard?
You're not going to be able to help him sort the lot, are you? Because you can't bloody read it. All you're
But
going to
I'm
be
gonna
able to do is
try.
pick Summit up and get him to do the actual work. You're saving him on bending down. That's it. That's the whole thing.
And
I
he's
mean-
currently bedridden.
I mean, the room's in
Bending
a
down
state.
is an important thing, and I know how to squat. My kegels are rock hard.
I do not want to know that.
The room's in a state. If Leonard wants to clean and throw any documents he finds my way so that I can investigate them, that's
I would
favourable
suggest
to
that,
me.
yes,
With Hibbart's oversight, of course, because it's his paperwork. I'm just trying to help.
if Lenny, you want to tidy the man's room up, I'm sure he will be very grateful. And you
Oh
could just
goodness,
collect
no.
all
Leonard's
of the
going to clean the room. I'll read the paper.
collect all of the papers together, Lenny, and just give them back to Hibbert to sort out.
Right, I'll tell you
And
what,
I'm sure that will be
Go-
very useful.
Out you get. I need some room to tidy. Go on.
All right, my pleasure.
We need to look
Take
for
this,
the
take
big.
this bowl down and tell him.
Nobody else is touching
No,
that bowl.
I'm not touching that bowl.
No,
Hibbert, have you got like a bit of cloth or anything?
no, leave the poor man alone.
Oh, I need you
Get
to
your
take the
friend
bowl.
Erdit to use one of his ferrets or something.
Yeah, here you go.
Goodness, I wouldn't
You've
want them
got a
getting ill.
ferret. Have you got a ferret trained to carry bowls?
I mean, I don't want to lose them.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
Chopper, sick bowls. Right.
You should have chosen rats instead of ferrets. They're everywhere.
Yes,
You
but ferrets are bigger.
I don't think you'll hear me say this, but Leonard has a point.
Are
Well, there's
rats
a pers-
intelligent enough?
If you
That's
want
right.
intelligent
Really
rats, we
smart,
can
that.
get intelligent rats.
You try keeping rats out of your grain store. You'll soon see how bloody smart they are.
Yes.
I've been outsmarted by a rat.
That's not fair enough.
Right then, well, I'm
Yeah.
going to sort through this paperwork. Alright? And help the a cappella in his work, alright?
Right.
Can
So,
we have a look for nice, big, long scrolls?
okay,
Probably
so
aren't here
a,
because they've
a
been
very quick cursory scan around the room reveals nothing that looks like a nice big long scroll.
Okay. Right. Because if we've managed to be ignoring it for the last 2 times we've been in here, that would just be embarrassing.
What's this brown envelope with clue written on it?
I done it and I'm not sorry. Signed, the culprit.
So, am I right in understanding that Leonard and Erdit are going to be going through the paperwork in the room, and Lenore and Brunhilde are going to be doing something else?
I think that sounds about right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
think
what
we are.
are Lenore and Brunhilde about to do?
Now that is an interesting question. I suspect in Brunhilde's case the answer is go downstairs and have a drink.
You read my mind. After a long conversation with Leonard, suddenly alcoholism is looking like a valid career path. Although I do need to find someone who can repair
Yeah,
my
the problem
flail.
is to change career. It is, I believe, a rogue basic career, alcoholic. So you can any rogue can change into that for 100 XPs without needing it as a career exit. Because you're not a rogue, I think you would actually need a career exit to be alcoholic from one of your existing careers. Pitfighter probably has that.
Oh dear.
Hell. Ew. Okay, I'm having a crazy Chrissy moment now. Right, do you think we're actually going to
Having
get...
said that as a joke, there is a rape career, which is a rogue basic career, but it could easily be an alcoholic.
Yeah, it's not a million miles away, is it, Fish?
No,
I'm
maybe
sorry.
Miles.
A rake.
Yes,
Yeah.
as in,
That
you
is
know,
correct.
The rake's
As a
progress.
basic road career, you can indeed be an implement for cleaning up fallen leaves.
So, following going downstairs for a drink, you would be then considering going out to find a way to repair your mace? No, it was your flail, wasn't it? It was the
It's
flail.
my flail, I think. Let me
Yes.
just check.
No, it was the flail, because
It was the flail.
the extended chain between the
I
handle.
actually don't have a mace. If I'd had a mace, I would have hit it with a mace, but I didn't have a mace. I only had a flail.
I've got a mace. That's probably what you were thinking of.
Yes.
Yes.
I knew there was a mace somewhere.
Sounds like you
Righty-ho.
should have taken out weapon insurance.
Reasonably sure that third-party fire theft and active demon is not available.
You get an account with Protect My Bubble or whatever it's called.
Protect my bubble, bubble, toil and trouble.
Oh dear lord.
That's the one.
Yeah, well, it's happening, and I can feel the neurons misfiring at the moment. How does... Oh, Christ, on a bike it's got up to 35.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, my window's open, my door is open. There is nothing else I
Your
can
place
do.
is way
My
too-
dog has managed to find her way in here, so I suddenly felt this thing jump against the chair. Like, oh, my dog arrived. Clearly I didn't shut the door enough.
You know, going to show us the doglet.
She doesn't seem to like jumping up onto my lap while I'm here. When I'm sat downstairs, she'll jump up onto my lap at the drop of a hat. But up here, she just stays on the floor.
Oh.
I think possibly it's because I've got a
That's
fan
why.
here. She's just trying to get in the cool air.
It's not a rake, it's a board. That's the thing I was thinking of.
Well, I just had an image now. Instead of guys and dolls, you've got rakes and hoes. Which could apply equally to gardening or something. Not a term I use at all under normal circumstances, but I'd like a good... I'll go with a wordplay joke any day.
So, Lenore and Brunhilde head downstairs and presumably grab a table and have a drink before deciding to go out and find someone to fix the flail. So I shall leave you pair having a drink for the moment and head upstairs to chat with Erdit and Leonard, who are currently going through trying to tidy up poor Hibbart's room.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Can I
get started
have...
in earnest?
Sorry, pardon?
Before we get started in earnest.
Yes.
Erdif,
Yes.
can you go like in the corner? I need to have a bit of a private chat.
Sure, I'll go stand in the corner
Thank you.
and continue to listen.
More of a Leonard thing.
Before I begin, because obviously I understand it's your personable, is there anything you want to tell me now, rather than it be a surprise?
I'm sorry, what?
I think
Well,
he's talking about the risque
as someone that's
Bretonian
dug through
illustrations.
Other people's stuff before, most without them knowing, but that's beside the point. Sometimes you find things that people don't want you to find. This is a personal space. There might be things that you don't want other people to see. I'm making sure that doesn't come as a surprise should I find anything.
Given my situation, I can think of little that would be... I would not want you to see, no. I
Okay,
can
that's
think of
fine.
little.
That's fine. Right, then, how many poles are you going to need?
Well, just one in chronological order of date of creation. I date all my paperwork up in the top right.
I can't read.
Then how do you
Hello,
intend
Dave.
to help?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you at the moment. I'm standing in the corner.
Well, that's nice. You clearly can, because you're bloody responding. Now get over it. Alright? You are going to be my seeing eye elf. Right?
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to grab a bit of paper, show you top right you said, yeah?
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to show you the top right of the paper. You don't have to read anything else. There might be embarrassing stuff. Right? In the top right, and you tell me what day it is, and then we'll put it in chronological order for our friend here. You don't have to lift a finger, you just have to read and go, tell me the date. How's that sound?
Now, do you know how dates work?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. That's fine then.
You're right there, Chrono. You're right there.
Alright.
So,
So,
can I have a willpower roll from both of you, please? Because I'm assuming it's going to take some serious willpower to continue just looking at the date and concentrating enough to get it in the right order.
Not a willpower check because they were working together so closely for such a long time, and
No,
as they moved closer.
nor is it a willpower check for reading the wrong kind of document. Because this isn't Cthulhu.
Also, you know how it is when you're sorting through books and papers. You know, you start with every intent of boxing up loads for charity, and 2 hours later, you're halfway through a novel you haven't read since you were 15.
Anna Robinson.
Fine. I just loosely brush over without going into too much detail when I read about the two saucy Orkmen.
So you're busy flicking through paper after paper, and you've got a system running. And it seems to be putting things in order. When Erdit notices that Leonard just skipped past a page, he just picked up the page, didn't read anything off it, and stuck it in the pile. And picked up the next page and read the date off it.
Grab the page that was dropped. What about this one?
That one has no date on it. In fact, appears to be, now you look more away from the top right corner, somewhat hand-drawn. But it's torn.
Oh, that's torn.
It's roughly the same sort of size as everything else, so easy to be just gathered in, but it's only a portion of a map.
Okay. This is what we're looking for, Leonard.
alright, well, let's put that to one side. We've got to finish our first task. You never know, we might find more bits. If I find one without a date again, I'll give it to you specifically.
Leonard, you hadn't even realised that you just skipped past it. You just got so in the habit of when there was one that didn't have a date, you just moved on to the next. It's one of those things.
I'm going to try and kind of talk my way out of it.
No,
I intentionally did the right thing, and Erdif should have noticed. I was checking he was paying attention.
We need more of the ones with the pictures and less of the ones with the squiggles.
Aren't pictures just a collection of squiggles?
Well, if it's a standard hand-drawn map, it's presumably predominantly lots and lots of crossed hatching.
It is.
That's what people do.
That's not full of fried eggs.
Oh, yes, it's an underground as opposed to an overground.
Anyone bling free?
What does this map depict? What area?
It appears to be the, from what you can tell, upper right area of Middenheim.
Aha!
But
Almost like a quarter of a map.
Maybe less. Depends how big Middenheim actually is. Given that you're new here, you haven't seen just how big the city is. So you haven't seen a full map of the city. It might be the top right quarter. It might be an eighth. It could be any size of map. Without seeing the rest of it for scale, you've got no idea.
It depends which way you rotate it as to which corner it is.
That's also true. It might actually be the upper left corner, or the lower right, or the lower left. Who knows?
How far through the stack of papers did we have to go before we found this?
Oh, you've not gone too far. But what you do know about this little corner that you've got is that the depiction of the city is very faint, but there are a number of heavily drawn black lines that seem to coincide with streets, or some streets in some areas.
Possibly these sewers. Okay, well, keep sorting through them, keeping a very close eye out for these map pieces.
Right, can I have, now that you guys have got a vague idea what you're looking for, can I have an intelligence roll from each of you, please?
Oh dear.
Oh, Lord.
I knows my stuff, I do.
Well, my intelligence roll. Okay, apparently I lack the intelligence to roll it, so let's That is a 55 with a intelligence. Oh, it's because I'm trying to roll an initiative. Okay.
Oh yeah, initiative is I, intelligence is int.
Yeah, yeah, I'm clever, of course. That is failed by 10.
Okay, no worries. Right. So, while the paperwork is being rummaged through by these two oiks, I'm going to move to these two oiks. So you finish your breakfast and drink, and presumably head into town to find someone that could fix your flail?
Yes. We've been to the marketplace.
Yep.
So I think probably that's our best place to start. And you never know, we might run into one of our little irregulars.
It's entirely possible.
Hmm.
Entirely possible.
Yes, we're going to have to skip over Beggar Man, by the way, Fish. Because in the sequence, yes, because unfortunately I think Leonard's got that.
You might confuse Leonard.
Too reminiscent.
Yes. So, okay. And also, you never know, I might get kidnapped.
Well, someone might try and kidnap you.
The way I've been rolling in this game, I might get kidnapped.
Look,
So it's the
if
person that
somebody
killed a demon and beat someone in a effectively a cage fight.
Yeah, true. If I do that,
looks human. If
Sorry?
someone who looks human does try to kidnap you, then for God's sake, let them.
You think I should just put up sort of a token struggle?
I mean, what's the point in luring in people who will let us know where their secret headquarters is, and then killing them all before they can show us?
I'm trying to decide, should I be going for the competent fighter look at this point, or should I be going for something a little bit showier? Not so much competent fighter as got a lot of muscles and cleavage window, please kidnap me.
Well, I don't think that's why they want to kidnap you.
Reasonable. I mean, the last 3 times that somebody attempted to do that,
And the last person that we know of who was doing the showy, pretending to be better than they are, all image and no actual fighting, got his heart ripped out by a demon. So,
this is true. And
whereas
that
the
would
guy
be...
who was actually any good, he got
Yes.
kidnapped instead. So I would definitely say go with being any good.
Oh yes, and certainly the armour with the cleavage window, that would facilitate the whole heart ripped out thing. I've always felt that was deeply
That
unsafe.
would. Aye, you're absolutely right.
But some promoters do seem to like that sort of thing until you get into the ring, and then you can change into the proper gear.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've heard. So, but you know, you're supposed to be my promoter these days.
So you're heading into town, heading towards the market, and you don't see any of your irregulars, but you do spot, just off in the distance, the very distinctive hairstyle of Matilda.
Yes.
What with
has
her hair
she
being
been up
white.
to? Yes. What has she? I'm not throwing stones in hair and eye colour.
Well, you don't have any hair.
No, but I have silver eyebrows. If I had hair, the rest of it would be the same colour. Ooh, and we've lost Fish.
Uh-oh. We have lost Fish.
And
no.
he's back. Fishy went down the hole.
I think
but Fishy
Fish's
came back.
network may have
I
glitched.
still hear Fishy.
Okay, that was weird.
Yep.
Yes, you froze looking terribly thoughtful and your network went to red. So...
I think the demon's just playing with Fishy's network at the moment.
I think you're probably right.
I'm glad you finished that sentence. Right. Well, I'm not showing any drop frames. Oh, my recording's going through at least. Hey. And I'm not inadvertently streaming. So...
That's a relief.
Right.
Silver linings and all that.
Is it worth having a chat with Matilda? Brunhilde.
I don't know, is it? What do you want to chat to her about?
Well, She did manage to determine whether the bottle was a sedative. I'm just wondering whether she could point us in the direction of somebody locally who might be selling such things. And the marketplace is an excellent place. She did. We did, but she sort of didn't answer particularly.
I have a feeling we may have asked it of somebody else, possibly Ludwika.
Possibly.
On the assumption that she would probably have criminal contacts.
You guys have actually no trust for Ludwika at all, do you?
No, she's sus in some way, shape or form. How exactly she's sus, we have yet to determine. But she's suspicious. She doesn't like us either. But that's neither here nor there, to be honest. Right. God, it's too bloody hot in here. Oh, and my fan's switched off. That'd be why.
Is it on a timer, or did the fan overheat trying to keep you cool?
No, it's the batteries are on their way out, and I can't find the cable. So I've just switched it off, switched it on, in the hope that it's the equivalent of taking the batteries out and rubbing it. But I can't do that on stream.
Now, is not the purpose of taking the batteries out and rubbing them to heat them up so that it conducts better? And would they not already be rather warm?
No and no. Allegedly, it helps clean the contacts, but since it's an ongoing effect, so unfortunately, no, heating up the batteries wouldn't do it. And besides, don't heat up your batteries, people.
No, really don't.
No. I meant simply by the rolling in the hands motion.
Yeah, no, because if it was, it would only work for a few seconds after.
And it would then dissipate.
Yeah, as anyone who has done that to their TV remote control knows, that gets you an extra couple of days.
Yeah.
Extra 2 days on battery. Right.
So what was the... Excuse me, I'll try that again. Did you decide to try and flag down Matilda, or leave her be for whatever she's doing?
I think we're flagging her down, but I don't know we've decided why yet.
I just like to keep track of people when there are disappearances going on. And I'd quite like to know if she's buying, I don't know, herbs marked not to be taken internally because will cause horrible demonic death. Or a book labelled Possession the Easy Way.
Do not operate two-handed weapons after taking this medication.
Do you have some sort of suspicion around Matilda, perhaps?
I have suspicion around everyone. She's been extremely useful. She's very nice, pretty, and Leonard fancies her.
She's far too nice not to be up to something.
Yes, she's therefore definitely a bad one. Until I have absolute proof otherwise. And unfortunately, the absolute proof otherwise is when she ends up gutted on the windowsill somewhere.
Yes, she is what we in the trade term a wrong un.
Until proven otherwise by her own gutted death.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, evisceration is definitely the way to go.
We have a similar system to most witchfinders, you see. If you die, you're innocent.
Yes, absolutely.
So, having flagged her down, she comes over to you. Oh, hello. How are you?
Oh, fine, and not at all too much shaken. Hibart is up and around.
Yes. I took him his breakfast this morning. He seems much better.
Yes.
Yeah, we were going to ask you. I mean, he's obviously, he's talking, and he does seem a lot better. But you're the expert. We wanted to ask you. Should he be taking it easy, not overexerting himself? That's the kind of thing.
Very much so. Yes. He very much should be resting. He is clearly much better, but he still has a lot of healing to do.
Because we've got him resting while Erdit and Leonard clean up his room for him, so that he can rest.
Leonard?
That's absolutely what's going on.
Clean being the operative word.
Yeah. We couldn't really stop him.
Well, we could, but we would have had to touch him.
Yeah, that's true.
I see.
So we're out shopping?
Yes. Unfortunately, caring for Leonard has depleted my supplies, so I'm having to restock.
I really hope you meant Erdith, because otherwise there's...
I meant Hibart.
Even Hibart.
Hibart. Yeah,
Hibart's
sorry.
what I meant.
Okay.
It's the heat. It's getting to my brain, yo.
Yeah, random people. I'll just pick a name.
The
Now-
problem is when your eyes are looking straight at something and that just
Yeah.
feeds
Yes.
straight to your mouth.
Keeping Sophia sedated is really using up my supplies. What a giveaway!
Now,
It
following
might work for a bloodthirsty cult.
following the questions you asked last night around that vial you had me,
Yes.
I've been doing some. I hope you don't mind. I haven't overstepped my bounds, but I've done some investigation.
Being terribly helpful and for your own bat? Absolutely not. Now go ahead. What did you find?
Look,
Well,
Matilda, we are not official in any way, shape, or form. So if you've overstepped your bounds, then so have we. Let's just not
Oh,
worry
very well.
about it.
Very well. Okay. So now the places that I normally go to restock my supplies, I thought I'd ask about the materials needed to make this solution that was in the glass, and they've all sold out. Someone's been buying rather a lot.
Right. Don't
So
suppose they keep records.
Well, I'm just on my way back into this area. I'd ventured out further around the city, and there's not a lot out there either. Someone has been buying up enough to, well, seemingly keep a small army asleep.
That's
That-
not bad at all.
Were that quantity of soporific to be, say, put into central water supply, would that have a mass influence?
Well, no, it would render the water a very odd colour and but it's most effective when inhaled.
Oh, good. Good.
So in the water it would do nothing other than make the water look odd.
That's actually a huge relief, I have to say.
Right.
So, do your dealers happen to know who they have been selling these ingredients to?
I asked, and they got very, very quiet and didn't want to tell me.
So,
And I'm
scary
afraid
people,
I'm
then.
not the sort to push that sort of question. I did try for you.
No, that's totally understandable. I'd never ask you to do anything like that. Who would you not regret losing most as a contact?
I'm sorry?
Which of the herbal dealers would you miss least if they no longer wished to deal with you? Just out
Oh,
of
they always
curiosity.
work for me. They didn't mind me asking. They're always happy for me to buy from them because they know how much good I do and how much I spend with them. I really do spend quite a lot with them.
So, yes, I know how it is. I can't walk past a weapon stall. No, I was simply thinking that perhaps Brunhilde here could be quite persuasive as to making them more inclined to remember. And we do work quite well as a team in that regard.
Oh! You mean threaten them to give that? Oh, I see.
I could threaten them with Brunhilde, yes, I was just thinking of letting her talk at them. I'm getting epic side-eye from Brunhilde now, aren't I?
Yes,
I
you
suppose
are.
side and 45 degrees up, but yeah. But yes, obviously wouldn't want to commit any violence or anything, but they won't know that.
Well, there is old Jacob just on the. He runs a little store not far from here actually. Just head down the street, second left, and then left again. And he's got a little store there. Rather.
Excellent.
He's an old man, but he's rather vile and abrupt, and I have a hard time coping with some of the things he says. So
Yeah.
if he were to not be willing to sell to me, I think that would probably not make a vast amount of difference. I normally only shop there when I have to anyway, when what I'm looking for isn't available anywhere else.
Well, you
That's
do have to be careful when dealing with Jacob. He hasn't been the same since Sirius 4. gag only Drat will get.
Oh,
Unless there are anybody, unless there's anybody in the audience who has actually read Veteran.
so
I recommend reading Veteran, by the way,
yes.
because
Okay.
although it is not cyberpunk, if you were to run the Veteran books as a role-playing game, it would be done in Cyberpunk 2020. That's what it's closest to. But it's not a cyberpunk setting.
Okay. So, thank you for giving me a chance to get a drink there, Fish. Really, really making me sore-throated. So, I vote then that we find ourselves a carpenter who can make me a replacement haft, and order that.
Oh yes, we still need to find your stick.
It's not a stick. A stick is not suitable. I have told you this. It needs to be seasoned
and it's made
hardwood.
of wood.
It needs to be seasoned hardwood. It needs to be.
Seasoned hardwood stick.
It needs to be properly shaped. Otherwise, it's going to either come loose from the socket, and the first time I swing, I kill somebody 4 rows back, and that's just bad business.
Brunhilde will unhook her mace from her belt. Sort of spin it, flip it round so she's holding onto the head.
See, yours is a stick.
And look at the handle. Looks like a stick to me.
Well, yes, yours is a stick. Yours is a weapon of last resort. Mine is a tool for my job.
All weapons are weapons of last resort. That is the point of weapons.
No. They are not. That is, and that's not pointy anyway. But they're not last resorts. I mean, they might be.
I know he's not there, but just can Len say that in his line of work, you never ask what's brown and sticky.
Because the answer is never a stick.
Ouch. Stick.
So I'm going to cut away from Brunhilde and Lenore at that point.
Thank God.
And go back to Leonard and Erdit, who have spent by now probably an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, sifting through page after page after page, and have a number of pieces. You've probably got about 16 pieces of map here that have all been ripped up in various different shapes and sizes and angles. Looking at it, you would believe that someone took the scroll, unscrolled it, and just literally tried to rip it asunder to make it useless.
Right.
That's what it looks like happened.
Does the Warhammer universe have anything akin to sellotape?
Strips of paper and pine gum.
Yeah.
Because we need some.
Yeah, what exactly Esdras said. Strips of paper and bind gum. You need someone that knows and deals with books, possibly very old books.
You need to go see that guy.
Yeah, we need to see Dude Face.
that's his
Dude
name.
Face.
Dude Face the demonologist.
But what you also need to do is try and piece the jigsaw puzzle together.
Giacomo,
Indeed.
by the way.
Giacomo, yes.
Gianci.
So, can I have once more, please, intelligence checks from the pair of you?
Oh, fantastic. Let's see if we're smart enough to do a 16-piece puzzle.
Leonard.
The answer is no.
Oh.
Well, now, Leonard encountered the odd issue whereby both die rolled in the tens.
Yeah, that it's 5010. How many degrees of failure?
So now I've got no way of knowing which actually should have been the units and which should have been the tens.
I shall re-roll.
So yeah, if you could re-roll that.
It's rolled it. It is a 60. The way the die roller in Fantasy works, that is a 60.
That is a 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that there's no way it could be 15.
No.
Because that's
No, I
either
wish.
No,
surely that's either 15 or 50.
It specifically rolls them that way round and adds them together to get 60. So that is a 60, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, can't be changed.
Damn it.
That's the way it works, so fine.
Now, remind me if I'm well. Let me know if I'm wrong here, but we do, I believe, have fate points for not being absolutely inept at putting together 16-piece puzzles.
Well, no, fate points don't work that way, unfortunately. This isn't one of those games where your fate points can be used to help you with things. Their only function is to not be dead. Something which is actually quite important in Warhammer.
Yes,
You have fate points to not be dead with.
I was under the impression they could be used for re-rolls also.
No, I mean they might have changed that in the later editions, but certainly in first edition, fate points are just there for not being dead.
Well then,
Give me a little paper cut, and we'll try this again.
Nice try, but no. Fate points, as Fishy says, literally are there to show that you are destined for a greater fate.
Yeah.
Then my skills in assembling 16-piece puzzles are failing me.
Inadequate.
But
You need a small child. Unfortunately, she's been kidnapped.
you do believe you have all the pieces. It'll just take you a good while to sit down and piece them together.
Right.
Now the yes, yes.
Oh, sorry. Right. Sorry. How far through the clutter are we?
You've gotten all the way through the clutter.
Right. Okay, well, right. That's it. A bit cleaned up for now. Would you mind just doing us one last favour?
If I can.
By looks of it, someone's been quite unruly with one of your bits of paper and has torn it asunder, as I believe the saying goes. And would you help us? Because you looked at the map before, didn't you?
Yes.
Would you see about putting it kind of in the rough, or at least like numbering it so we know which one is what?
Yes, I can do that. Bring it over here to the bed.
Erdif?
Yeah, I'll place the parchment on his bed sheets.
So you place the various parts and he sort of picks them up, and within a couple of minutes he's got them laid out. And all of a sudden you've got a map that sits together and looks something like, which is the share one. Sharing. Share sheet. Right. It's shown it to all of you, but specifically at the moment, Erdit and Leonard, this is what you're looking at that's been pieced together.
Aha.
You have a map of Middenheim with all these black lines. Now the bit that I would expect to catch your eye would be if I can stick a pointer just about there. Would be the tributaries leading into that particular sewer, which is where you traced the lines to, which would have headed out to this exit here. When you would have expected it to head south from the location, but actually it went more east. So
now,
not necessarily towards the centre, but to a different exit.
With words of demons and whatnot, and this is a long shot, I know, but with languages arcane magic, does this look like any kind of mystic symbology?
No, this looks like a sewer map.
Okay,
it's meant to be fine.
Yes. Yeah.
If there was a big circle around the edge of it, then yes, quite possibly.
Ah, dear.
Oh, where's
That's
Crowley
an
when you need him?
script for property of Ulrich is found.
Right.
Right, we need to get this stuck back together.
Have you got anything that could do that here, Hibbot?
I do not know. You would need some kind of adhesive and maybe some paper.
One question.
Yes.
What do the arrows mean?
What I believe to be the direction of flow. So everything ultimately flows out of the city. The hatched lines you can see at the edge of the Faustschlag are the grates where the sewer just simply exits the mountainside. So everything flows to the edge of the city, out through the mountainside, and then it would then flow down the Faustschlag.
Well, I just wanted to double check because obviously.
And of
Right.
course,
Because that would explain what how we found you really, because we thought you were flowing towards the middle. Sorry, that might be a bit of a sensitive subject for you. Sorry.
No, not at all, not at all. And it does explain why
the anything, so don't worry about that. But
it does explain why the land around Middenheim is so fertile and well farmed.
Yes.
While we were down there, did we not find that the sewers seemed to flow towards the centre?
That was an assumption based on the fact that you were effectively following,
Yeah, we were
this
in-
tributary north, which at the time seemed to be like it was going to the centre, rather
Right.
than, given how close to the edge of the city you were, you expected it to head south. But
But
instead it was heading north.
we never explored the main passage there that it actually runs to.
Correct.
yeah, I only got so far and then came back.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now we should probably be with the others when we go to get this reassembled. We don't particularly want to be wandering the streets with something like this, considering what's happened.
Yeah, but if you had the right stuff, could you put it back together?
I am no bookbinder, no. Not without sticking myself or the pages to each other.
Oh, I want to make a suggestion and I'm not there. No,
Let's wait for the others to get back, because they went off gallivanting somewhere. I don't know. I told them to get out. But, in the meantime,
What?
let's you and me have a rest, because this has been boring as anything. Let's-
What kind of ink did you use?
Just ink as I bought from a vendor in the area. Nothing
Oh, Jesus.
special.
Whatever
Do you think-
don't we on it?
Do you think if we assembled this over another large piece of paper and used something like, for example, beer as a medium, it would transfer appropriately?
I'm a great believer in using beer as a medium, but
just as a random common sense check, not as a Lenore would suggest this. You've got the map assembled at the moment, yeah?
Yes, they do.
sort of a
Why
copy.
don't draw a copy or number, or if you want the original, number the pieces in order
I've
while
already asked you
you've
about to
got
number
it
them.
made up.
Yeah, the pieces are numbered, and it's a very big map.
Yeah,
and
they did specify number of the pages when they were putting it together. They did
Right.
specify that bit.
Thank God for that.
Hibbar, if we gave you, say, like a blank bit of paper that was smaller than this, could you make a copy of it?
In time, this map took me a number of days of solid labour to create.
Well, it's just I mean, let me be clear with you, but we would like to use the map.
Then if you find someone who is skilled enough in bookbinding effectively, they would be able to piece it back together for you. But I am not able to do that. I do
I
not
don't want to
possess
take
that
your
skill.
original map, it's yours.
If it helps you find young Sophia, it is yours.
Right then, thank you very much. Let's go and ask about, what do they call them? Oh, cart something, those ones.
Cartography.
I hear this whistle.
Never sure.
Horse
Yes, the sheer stench transmits sound to and from Leonard's ears. It's like his sensory net.
Right, I've got it. We need to find a cartofragger. Go find a cartofragger.
Clearly, whatever is travelling between the ears has an echo, and the echo is distorting the word.
I think we just need a bookbinder, the cartography's already been done.
Yeah, but I want to make a copy. Because if we lose this, so that's going to be expensive, isn't it? Well, you're a rich elf. You'll be able to pay, wouldn't you?
I mean, this is supposed to last me the length of my trip.
Yeah, but you know, it's for Sophia. It's not for us. It's for Sophia. Because if we lose this, you know.
Well, we can use this one to help Sophia, and we're not going to lose it. We're not going to lose it.
I will hold it to you, Erdif, in that you look after the map.
Thank God.
And if you lose it, just know that Sophia's blood is on your hands.
Sophia's and that of several ferrets.
I'm just waiting for him to suggest redrawing it in ferret blood.
I mean,
You can do any kind of magic wibbly woo to make a copy.
my thought process actually was perhaps if I strapped the map pieces onto the backs of the ferrets and had them move in formation.
Yeah, but won't you just get hair all over the map?
Oh dear.
But no, let's all right then. Hiba, I will leave you to rest. I hope
you.
you like Harry's nice now all clean and tidy.
Thank you
If
ever
you'd
so
like to
much
join
for
me
your
for a
assistance.
tipple word if on you, let's go and have a drink.
And apologies for the smell that now probably permeates everything that's been touched. I would suggest getting new equipment.
Yeah, don't worry about the damp patch. You'll dry up in a couple of hours.
Oh.
I will take care.
I would
to bring
suggest
my old
burning everything and buying all new things.
Yes.
Burn it all and start over.
I mean, that's how you clean, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
Paper plates
skipping
and
back to Lenore and Brunhilde. So this is why people don't like it when you split the party. I've got to track two things at the same time now.
Yep.
I do apologise.
That's fine, it's cool. It's
Falkenstein
cool.
doesn't let you.
Really?
Falkenstein doesn't do intercutting. It specifically says you don't cut between scenes. It's got a very old-fashioned structure. You have to finish one scene, then you do the other scene. So if you split the party, basically I can send you guys out for coffee. Right. Bish, you got to turn that keyword off.
God.
Yeah, it's not even
Well,
supposed to be there. It's just because I copied the bot from my personal one to build the hint bot in a hurry,
yeah.
and I didn't remove it.
Right. So.
So, you were heading to Jacob, the herb dealer.
Yes, Jacob the herb dealer. Which is going to go so well. Yeah, we're going to go to the.
First herb is free.
Yeah, unfortunately it's mint. Gets you in with the glass of chamomile tea. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is just swing by a carpenter and order up a replacement staff for the haft of my flail, which we don't need to get into again. But I've got the broken parts.
Hello,
so I can
we'd like to buy a short broomstick, please.
Wait, so one of you, sorry, I'm doing the Lenovo's, but so one of you's calling it a stick, the other one's calling it a haft. Why not meet halfway and just call it a shaft?
That is unfortunately valid. But
Also, not necessarily
no.
halfway, because it's the entirety of haft and only the S of stick.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
not
but sticks
halfway
are very
at all.
hardy, they
It doesn't get a lot of my stick in there now, does it?
It's actually using the T from the stick, not the T in half.
I think we should call it a hick instead.
No. Bad. Naughty.
Yeah,
Those of us who know-
really mess it up and call it a shtick.
Oh.
A stick, perfect.
This shtick is not ready yet. Sorry. Oh God, it's obscure advert reference, 1972. Right. Okay. So we are. Yes, I'll just swim by and order that, and then we can head off to the local dealer.
Yeah.
With intent on basically setting Brunhilde loose on him. because by that point, of being punched in the face would probably seem like an up.
So what is Brunhilde the warning shot, and then if it gets really bad, you get Lend involved?
Yeah. Yeah.
I suspect the punching in the face is going to be a thing here.
So, Old Jacobs, the shop is actually called Old Jacobs.
For God's sake.
Matilda
Make me
was
feel
being
bad about
deadly
beating
accurate.
the
The shop is called Old Jacobs. And it looks like a very normal herbalist. It's quite small, but you can see various jars of herbs and such as you look through the window. And there's a young guy behind the counter.
Did we get from Matilda the name of this thing that is being bought up in vast quantities?
No.
That's what I thought.
Bollocks.
You
We
forgot to
may
ask
have
that bit.
made a slight miscalculation here.
Hmm.
Basically, you want me to walk in there and charm this gentleman into telling us not only who is buying this thing, but what the thing is that's being bought.
Well,
For
if
all
you...
I know, we're going to get a list of every chef in the city. If they're all buying bloody, I don't know, mint or basil.
Okay. Go in there. Ask him what you would use to put an elderly relative to sleep.
It makes it sound like a shop.
Well, yes, I mean, I
Oh, I
accept
want
this.
to murder my uncle. What would you suggest?
Sleep, last time I checked, it does not equate to death. Not in every occasion, anyway.
If you ask any poisoner, sorry, my mistake, herb dealer,
Yes,
what you need to put someone to sleep,
yes.
you are not going to get a mild sedative.
Just point out that your elderly relatives had trouble sleeping. And they're in need of something a bit stronger than, chamomile.
Use Leonard's name. So say like Leonard's been having night terrors, I don't know.
And we'd very much like him to stay asleep.
Yeah.
Let's go in and talk to old Jacob then.
Young Jacobs, by the look of things.
I'm going to let you walk in first, and then I'm going to do it's complete coincidence I don't know her. Because Lenore has all the subtlety of a half-brick in a handbag.
So I'm going to walk in first.
Yep. Let
Okay.
you walk into the drug
Does
dealer's
it have
den.
a ting when I open the door?
The door does indeed have the little bell on a
Excellent.
slightly sprung bit of metal. It goes ding ding.
Good morning, shopkeep.
Morning.
Oh, is he from the moot as well?
Just
I am
outside.
here to peruse your fine wares.
Peruse away.
I have an associate who is suffering terribly from an inability to sleep. What would you recommend for something that would aid her in getting a good night's rest?
Oh, there are a number of things that could do that. Is she human, elf?
Preferably something that would give her
dwarf.
a good night's rest after I put it on a rag and pressed it into her face.
Let's just
Your
check
family
what
are
his
criminals,
reaction.
aren't they? All your family are criminals.
Not all. Not all by any
Well-
stretch of the imagination.
We've not got anything that covers that, but I can give you a powder you can drop in a drink.
That's a start. That's a good start. But I've heard of this stuff on the rag, and I've heard really good things. Are you sure you've not got any?
Oh, aye.
Do you know anybody who might have some?
It's not a thing that we normally sell, but when we have it in, it goes out fairly quick, like. And yeah, the Italian bought us out last time he came in. The stallion, sorry,
Which
Tillion.
which Tillion was this? I know a couple of Tillions.
They were a reek gangly fella.
Does that match anything on
It doesn't ring a bell, actually, does it? I'll find my way into the shop to peruse while she's having this conversation.
Does a reek gangly fellow match the description of any of the Tillions that I've already met?
Possibly.
Working for Gaetano Rapetti?
I mean, it's a fairly generic and broad spread description.
In the world.
But there's a couple of the Tillions that could be considered reek gangly. You weren't introduced to any of those by name. You saw them around when you were at Rapetti's place, but couldn't identify them by name.
But he were definitely Tillion, you see.
Oh, aye.
Okay. Well, meantime, tell us about this this powder for drinks then. How much do you have to use, and what does it cost?
Well, it's a blend of a plant root and do you understand herbology? And because if I tell you everything that's in it, it's gonna you're gonna miss out. It's a powder.
I have an amateur interest in herbalism, but I do not actually have any skill in the subject. No.
You got no skill.
Unfortunately not, no.
Right, then I wouldn't use that one.
I would love to learn, but it was just never made available to me as an educational opportunity.
Right, well, if you got no skill, I wouldn't use that one because you get too much in and they do more than sleep.
And it goes horribly wrong. Right, well, no, we don't like that one. That's not so good. Unless, perhaps, you or somebody you know does a kind of a crash course in herbalism that you can recommend me take.
Now that I could help with. Not in the short term, but I can help you out with that. I can give you a few pointers. Crash course. I could possibly work with you on that, but for your short term,
that's an interesting idea.
There's
in the longer term, obviously.
He brings out this sort of big jar of stuff. Now I could give you a couple of doses of this. It's made from a mushroom. I'm not going to tell you what mushroom, because I don't want you doing the things wrong.
I like mushrooms. Mushrooms are good.
Put a spoon of that in a drink, and it worked like Coco. She'll sleep sound as anything.
Right, okay. I'll have, how much is it?
5 gold. He produces a much smaller pot. That.
And that's how many spoons in there?
5 spoons in that.
5 spoons. So it's a gold per spoon.
Aye.
Alright, that's expensive stuff.
Aye. It's good stuff and safe. Doesn't go horribly wrong if you put too much in.
What have you got more in the shilling per spoon level? I'm not made of money.
Well, shilling per spoon. You'll not get anything at that level. But you say you're gonna come back and have me teach you.
I would love to.
Then how about I'll cut you a deal? I'll give you that pot for 2 gold.
And what'll it cost me to learn?
We'll discuss that when you come back.
Alright, you've got a deal. Right, I shall hand over 2 gold crowns.
He very carefully puts that in his pocket.
And I shall add a pot of dodgy herbs to my inventory.
Please note it's a pot of dodgy sleeping herbs.
Is a mushroom technically a herb?
Yeah, actually, I should put pot of dodgy mushroom paste.
He's just sold you
No.
concentrated soup. You know that, don't you?
But it's dried mushroom. It's dried and ground mushroom, so it is still a powder.
Okay, pot of dodgy mushroom powder then.
Okay, he sold you a cup of soup. For 5 gold.
2 gold.
2
Yeah.
gold, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
He sold you mushroom cup of soup for 2 gold. He saw you coming, which is tricky given you're not much higher than his counter. Did you get the name of the herb, by the way?
Nope.
It's just like, is it? It's like overselling to a one-armed halfling.
Because
Never new saying.
so far, Lenore has been intently studying some bunches of dried flowers of some description for the last 10 minutes, while desperately trying to look menacing but not like she's with you. Because if you want something done subtly, you don't hire Lenore.
Yeah, and I suspect that Dab is absolutely right. That yes, he will add 3 gold to the cost of learning.
Wouldn't be shocked. Not be shocked at all.
Well, thank you for your assistance. I look forward to coming back and learning the fine art of herbalism. Don't worry, by the way, because although I'm in town at the moment, I have no intention of settling and taking away any of your potential customers.
You didn't look the sort to sell.
The next couple of months, so I'll learn and then I'll move on, and everything will be grand. Or Brunhilde, by the way.
Jacob.
Nice to meet
Absolutely cream crackers.
So while you were listening to that conversation, Lenore, clearly a deal has been struck between the two of them over some mushroom-based product.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell she's playing at. It's Brunhilde, what am I going to do? I suspect Leonard won't be snoring for a bit, though.
It depends how much she gives him.
This is true.
No, I got the wrong one for that.
Ah! So, you got told... Did you get a name or something, Fish?
Nope.
Glitched
Just
out.
a gangly.
What I did get is that he was cleaned out of the other stuff by a Tillian.
Well,
Which leads us back to the petty. Not necessarily because we think the petty is behind it, but because Repetti is more likely to know what Tillians might be.
Repetti runs the entire Tillian
Or
Quarter.
because Repetti is actually behind it and the whole thing, he's been
There's a double bluff.
on us since the word go.
Just because he's a good cook doesn't mean he isn't also a kidnapping, murderous, demon-summoning bastard.
Absolutely. Although, usually, I mean.
But he is a really good cook.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
As a halfling, I obviously judge everyone
On the
their
quality
ability
of
to
their...
cook.
Quite.
Yes, I mean, okay, he killed me cousin. And yes, he's been known to eat the odd baby, but he cooks them lovely.
You're really putting horrible amounts of thought into that.
I know, it's disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Okay.
getting confused and thinking of Dark Sun halflings again.
Oh, yuck. Right.
So,
To make it clear, halflings in Dark Sun are not cannibalistic.
No, they eat everything else.
They eat everyone else, yeah.
fair enough.
No.
So,
Fingers crossed
presumably
that they
from
do.
there heading back to
Sorry, carry
the
on.
Grey Lord?
Yes, berating Lenore all the way.
Why?
Well, we carried out your bleeding stupid plan, and it cost me 3 gold crowns,
No, it didn't.
and all
It's a
we
small shop.
got from it whether this other stuff's been bought up by Tillians.
Hmm.
Not a lot of information for 3 gold crowns.
That's to be fair, yes. That's correct. I just didn't really see an opening that allowed me to attempt to beat his nose against the desk, since you seem to be wanting to keep him around for further training.
Well, he did seem like he might be quite useful in that particular front, yes.
So, do we know any
I
tall...
quite fancy learning some of this herbalism nonsense, because it seems to be proving to be quite useful at the moment. So, I figure if one of us knows it, that could be good.
So, do we know any tall, skinny Tillians?
Plus, apparently you can sell this mushroom crap for a gold crown a spoonful, and that sounds like a good way to make money.
Brunhilde, I know you're not that big on gardening, but I do believe mushrooms don't crap.
No, but my understanding is that they grow well if fertilized.
Okay.
And of course we know some Tillians. We met Pt4, remember? We had breakfast with him.
Yes, but do we know any tall, skinny ones?
Well, you're all tall and skinny to me.
Do we know any who are as tall or taller than me?
I don't know anyone who's as tall as you.
She's only 5'5". Every bugger's taller than her except
I
you.
keep forgetting she's not actually that big, is she?
Yeah, she's just tall for the party.
She just seems big.
Yes. She projects personal space
Yeah.
all around her. Zanshin.
So, I think we...
That's what then causes musk.
Yeah. We probably need to make a decision about Pt4. Do we trust him or not? Because if we trust him, and we ask him whether he might be able to identify the gangly Tillian bastard that is buying all of this illicit chemical that appears to be being used for kidnapping. If we don't trust him, however, then we investigate whether he owns the gangly Tillian bastard that is buying all of this chemical being used for kidnapping.
Well, whether we trust him or not, we could ask him. Because one of two things will happen. Either he will want to know who the gangly Tillian bastard is, who is causing him all sorts of trouble on his turf and attracting all sorts of unwanted attention. Or he'll try and kill us to stop us getting the information about the tall gangly Tillian bastard who's working for him.
I see a flaw with that part of the plan, because under those circumstances we would be dead.
No, I said try.
Yes, I know you said try, and I know you're feeling very flush because you killed a demon. and beat up a bloke who didn't know how to use the weapon he had.
Well, yes, I'm not really proud of that one.
But
It's more of a
he
time
has a
trial.
lot of people, and I'm reasonably confident that they will own things called bows. Assorted things with the word bow in the name, you know, like short bows and long bows and crossbows and repeating crossbows and hand crossbows and all kinds of things with bow in them, which are very effective when you don't want to get hit in the head with a sword.
I think you're overestimating.
Plus, his people are following us right now, listening to this conversation.
Well, there is that. There is that indeed, yes. But it's not like we're a threat to him.
Well, no, that's what I was just explaining.
We need to have a talk with our source. Our little hireling tail.
A stone from seemingly out of nowhere just up ahead of you ricochets off the wall and lands at your feet.
Okay. Very small catapults? Would they
You
count as things in case...
To attract our attention, I will look around.
Stood
Okay.
off to one side, just sort of leaning out from a near alley. Little wave at you.
Mhm. Right.
I will glance around again, nod to a different alley, and then amble over in that direction.
Disappears down that alley. And when you arrive in your designated alley. Again, they're leaning up against the wall. Couldn't help but overhear you mention Tillians. I thought maybe I might be able to lend some
Aye,
assistance.
no,
One or two.
Right, so first thing, in your career as a member of the underworld, do you know out about old Jacob that we were just visiting?
Yes, I know him quite well.
Is he trustworthy?
Yes, he's worked with us now and again.
And if he were to tell us that the stuff that was used to kidnap Wilhelm, I assume you're aware of the Wilhelm thing, that your
I am.
associate filled you in on that.
Yes.
That the components needed to make that stuff have been bought up recently in as much quantity as is available by a gangly Tillian.
Is
Do
that
you
so?
think that he would be telling the truth?
I do.
Right.
Would you happen to know who
Gangly
said
Tillian.
Gangly Tillian then?
It's not much of a description to go on. Yeah,
No, I know.
I mean, not all of us are as slender as an elf may be, or as stout as a dwarf, but we run the spectrum. Did they tell you anything more than just Gangly Tillian? Did they say...
Honestly, I couldn't think of a good excuse to ask him.
Well, it was...
Well-
Did he call him a fella?
I thought it would imply.
Okay.
Well, that narrows it
so-
down a little bit. So said fella is Gangly. No one springs to mind, but leave it with me. I'll go and have a chat with old Jacob. Or rather, old Jacob's store.
Uh-huh.
Old Jacob, who is actually rather young. And see if I can send one of my contacts out to you.
Okay. This is going to cost us extra, isn't it?
Of course. But only if I find something. I like you. I don't want to take money off of you if I can't find out anything.
Right. Well, that's always good to know. When being shaken down. So, we should repair back to the Grey Lord. They might have found
I
something.
think we should. Aye. We'll go and see what the others have done.
Okay. Well, good travels, and if I find anything, I will send a message.
Cheers.
Good.
And with that, she heads off in the rough direction of Jacob's.
And we head off in the rough direction of the Great Lord.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry.
It's come out for 9 o'clock. Do you want to take a quick break to refresh? Possibly stick a head under
I
a
think,
cold tap. Get a nice drink.
Comfort break at this point might be an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
The battery's just died in my fan, so I'm going to see if I can sort something else out.
Yeah, you look like you were struggling there.
Awkward.
While we break,
Um,
does anyone in chat have any questions they wanted to ask us? Because I think if we work in shifts, I'll take a break when maybe Fishy comes back.
Yeah.
Then,
Questions or suggestions? 'Cause-
indeed, yeah. And anything you guys want to suggest to help the players out with things they may not have thought of, have at it. Obviously can't comment on any suggestions you might make, but we certainly encourage them. Plus it gives me things to mull over and talk about while everyone else is off screen, because all of a sudden I am faced with 2 grey screens. I'm not entirely sure if Kiki or Jik are still there or not for the moment.
Oh yeah.
So Kiki and Jik, whilst everyone else is having a break, you've had some time to study the sewer map. You are in the quarter that's sort of around. Can I actually put a box in on this? Your base. Oh Christ, that's huge. Tell me I can move it, please. There we go. So you're kind of in that area. That's where most of the adventuring has been thus far. In fact, I can spin that around. Okay, I'm getting the hang of this box thing now. There we go. That's kind of the area that you guys have been working in and around. So you've got three largish tributaries. They're heading down to the main sewer that then heads out east from there.
Does what's on the map roughly correspond to what Leonard has experienced of the sewers? Do I think, for what I know, is it accurate?
There are more smaller tributaries that you've seen, but depending on how much whoever drew it, if it wasn't drawn by Hibbert, wanted to spend time doing every teeny tiny input, or whether they just wanted to do the main ones.
Well, it could be that
knocking that aside, it's reasonably accurate, you think? Certainly from what you've seen.
Just wondering in terms of, because it does flow in multiple directions.
Yep.
What I'm thinking is, does there appear to be some form of central point? Because I see there's, fairly smack bang in the middle, there is the kind of the cross beam, the T shape, with the 3 arrows pointing in different directions.
Yep. So that would presume that, from what you know, given that there's no pumps in there to force direction, it has to be gravity fed. So every time there's an arrow, that bit's flowing downhill. So that central point there, that 3-point T, would presumably be the highest point closest to the surface.
Right.
And then everything is downhill from there.
Public toilets.
Now, what I'm thinking is, because obviously you usually use a sewer to dispose of something, but I'm wondering, because you say there are obviously like smaller tributaries that I've been in that aren't on there, and I would assume, as it's gravity fed, the deepest point would have to be those on the outskirts.
Correct.
Because I'm thinking if we're going into these tunnels, or looking to go into the tunnels, we want to be as low as possible. Because I would assume if they've used part of the tunnels as a sewer system, then it only goes so far. Those exit points out the side of the mountain are quite high up, where the tunnels are below that as well.
You just want to go swimming, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Faustschlag itself is very, very high. It's like a mile high. It's ridiculously huge. And those entry points, those exit points for the sewer are nowhere near the bottom of the Faustschlag. They're still quite a way up the top.
Because one thing, these tunnels from Hibbert go deeper than this. So we want to ideally go to a deep point before we start looking for potential ways into these tunnels.
If people have been disposing of things and things of that nature have run past this area, there's only really one final destination for it all. Like, eventually they're built up against that grate.
Yep. So anything that's big enough that it wouldn't go through the bars in the grate will build up against it.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm thinking is it might be beneficial for us if we're thinking about these tunnels near the eastern grate where the barrow's pointing, because I think that's where it's going to be. But I mean, in terms of where we found Hibbert would have been, if he hadn't got snagged on something, would have eventually gone out the eastern side.
Or found himself just pinned up against the grate by the flow.
Yeah.
Because there are some poor saps within the not quite the city guard, but I suppose the modern equivalent would be council clean-up service, that do have to go down there and clean out stuff that gets stuck in the grates.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the follow-up there, knowing that is
Because you like to play against typefish.
Have any said
Apologies.
civil service people gone missing recently?
No more than normal that you're aware of. There is a reasonable turnaround of such people going missing. But
What's
that's...
the term the term that Dunnikin divers. That's it. That's the term that Discworld uses. So
right.
for
And
book cleaners.
if we want to investigate this and avoid any sort of trouble, do you think it might be worth seeing about investigating them while covertly operating under the pretense of an official?
Well, I mean, if we're looking at pretense, I could probably look at getting maybe official paperwork, because I'm sure they're always in need of Dunnikin divers. So, if I go and say, right, look, I'm from the Outquarter, I want to clean it up a bit. Can I get some, official paperwork to go and do it? I'm sure they'll want someone.
Right, folks, now that we have, I think, Drut and Fishy back, I'm going to go and take a quick comfort break.
Okay.
I will unmute myself then.
I have at least 4 fans in my possession. Can I
No, I
find?
think you'll find that all of the fans that you think you've got are actually fans of Techie.
You muted your camera for a reason.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Have you not unmuted it for a reason?
And I have not unmuted it for a reason as well.
Oh,
That
okay.
reason being that I don't think you really need to see me dunking fruit shortcakes in my cup of tea.
Yeah, I've just managed to spill an entire air cooler's worth of water all over my bed.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
Well
and
done, yes, well done.
and unfortunately, it's also got into the battery compartment, so I can't even run the damn thing with fresh batteries. I am not a happy bunny.
I've seen good days before. This isn't one.
This isn't one, no. This is a very, very hot, bad day.
Definitely some sod's law in it.
Hello again, cat.
I mean, we can never be happy, can we? It's either too hot, too windy, too wet, or too cold. It's never just right.
Too windy, too cold, too wet. I can cope with all those because I can do something about them.
I find fascinating the number of people walking into the children where I was working today and saying, "Oh, it's nice in here." And I was thinking, yes, and if it was 4 degrees outside, you'd be complaining that it was too bloody cold.
Yes.
And then any other time of the year, you walk in and say, "Oh, it's cold in here," like I've never heard it before.
Yeah. The thing is that if it's too cold, you can put on another jumper. You can always put another layer on. There is a limit to what you can take off.
Without liposuction.
Yeah.
For myself, at least, I view it as a function of volume to surface area ratio. Being somewhat rotund, it's a lot easier for me to retain heat than it is to disperse it, because I'm a fat bugger. So, when it comes to being cold, my body's better suited to that, whereas being hot, it's less suited.
Well, I've just got a lot of insulation on my head.
I find the solution to heavy heat is just to sit on the river for a while.
Yeah.
Not always easy for everyone.
Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi is a bit shite. And yes, as Fishy says, if there is a river handy, you're fine.
Yes.
To be fair, you could probably sit on the river midway. You don't need any flotation device. You can just sit on it.
Now, my big problem in this weather at work, at least, is the fact that at the weekends, at least, I am working in the children, which is kept at approximately 4 degrees the entire time. So when Google tells me that it's 21 degrees in my area, this means that every time I walk out of the children, say because I'm called to tills, there's like a 17-degree increase in heat, literally from one step to the next.
Honestly, I don't know how you do it, mate, because that would give me headaches. That would.
Yeah, it's not the most pleasant thing.
So, having had enough time for everyone to return back to the Grey Lord, we can do a quick cutscene and have you guys all able to exchange stories and update each other on everything that you've discovered thus far.
Right, so we all go wibbly for a bit, and everybody knows everything.
So you found out about this, wonderful ephemeral ganglion. Meanwhile, by the virtue of simple cleaning, we got a map.
You've got the all-important map that everybody wants. Yeah, I think you did a bit better than us there.
We could.
But that's not something that Brunhilde will ever say, which is why I didn't do it in the accent.
We could do with a trip to get it pieced back together, but we wouldn't want to make that journey on our own, given the history of this map.
Might be able to help because, she deals with pamphlets. Might know if someone was out.
Sorry, I suddenly got hit with an inspiration and realised I might know where one was.
USB fans to the rescue.
Transport. Here we go.
I have no idea.
Yeah, fair enough. It's the same one as mine, isn't it?
Nice. I'm not putting this down now.
No.
I'm going to stand here I'm going to sit here like this for the rest of the screen.
I have one exactly the same.
They're very, very good, those are.
Yeah, I get to do the whole romantic thing now, the whole spaniel with its head stuck out the window.
It's where we just get one of those, what's it called? The movie wind generators.
Oh, God, they're brilliant.
See, when I do that, Widow's Peak just flaps, so I got too pale.
Oh, okay, we're going curly today, are we? Right, fair enough. Good to know. Right, I apologise if anyone can hear fan noise on my stream. I don't care.
That's quite alright. We are completely understanding of fan noise. It's warm.
I apologise. I'm not sorry, but I do apologise.
So,
right, where are we?
Did go and speak to a book bloke.
Yes.
Who was the book bloke we went to speak to?
Gianchi.
Giacomo Gianchi.
That's right, it was Gianchi, wasn't it? It was the same guy, yeah.
Or Janky, or Jancy, depending on what pronunciation you're using. Oh, right, fair enough.
I'm going to call you Gareth.
Gianchi should be able to help us with this map problem.
Yep.
Right.
That would make sense.
I have a proposition.
Who was it? I think it was Erdit actually spoke to him, wasn't it?
It was Erdit and Lenore.
I just didn't want to go there without some kind of substantial anti-getting grabbed on the way while carrying the important map device.
Yeah.
Well, you had that. You had Leonard. Nobody's going to grab you so long as you stay really close to Leonard.
I'll tell you what. Give me the map. I will conceal it on my person.
No.
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 Alright?
No.
And then it'll be fine.
No, it's fine. It's all good. No, we're not doing that.
I do like how Brunhilde is our, the hard-hitting, like, powerhouse for the group. And yet
everyone's scared of Leonard.
It's completely dwarfed by the threat of Leonard touching something.
Everything is threat of Leonard.
Leonore's the big kick-ass fighter thing that should be scaring everyone. But no one just wants to go near Leonard.
Yeah.
Although both are very sort of Leonard kind of names. They're very similar.
Yes, there may be a connection there that we haven't yet uncovered.
I'm just waiting for the first one to
have
say,
a
nope.
missing brother lost at an early age.
I feel sorry for Lenore at this point. But,
yeah. Right. So we're off then. We're off to see the wizard.
The wonderful.
Well, can I go over before we do go, in quiet company? I have a plan that was so rather inspired by our elfin friend. Look at the map. There is an exit point on the east where there's a grating. Now, what I'm thinking is, considering that somebody's been using the sewers. That's where we found Ibar. There's these tunnels that people might be using that the sewers are connected to.
Wilhelm got dragged into a sewer. Not sewer, that's a whole different book.
Insinuate myself within the, as I'm going to continue to call them, just for clarity, Dunnikin divers of Mordheim. then I might be given
Middenheim.
access.
Middenheim,
Middenheim. I knew what I meant. It's hot. Brain. Next up is going, oh yes, and we'll play some Blood Bowl afterwards. No,
At some point, who else picked it up? I'm sure somebody did.
I think that was the person that was on their mobile device that was locking up. Whose name I forgot. Let me scroll up chat. Shard Angel or something?
Yeah.
I think they'd said.
Angel definitely mentioned it. I was just thinking a while back. I bought Warhammer on Steam because it was dirt cheap, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who did, because it was a potential midweek multiplayer.
Ooh, I may have picked it up.
That's
Anyway,
something to sort
yes.
out at a later date.
Yes,
Yeah.
quite.
but basically one thing is if I insinuate myself within that community and offer up my services as such, then it might give us some extra access to bits and bobs.
Okay. So, I can't believe that I'm saying this. You want to explore Middenheim's Middens.
Is that where it gets its name?
I didn't think it was, but on the other hand, I'm starting to wonder if the entire place is named for its underground sewerage.
Could be. Could
Well,
be.
that's highly advanced.
Well,
Way better than having to dig out of the bucket every so often.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Altdorf is named because it's basically a pit and it should have been knocked down and rebuilt years ago.
true.
Or like Stimogen, named after the apples.
Yeah, but that's just because there's a lot of apples there. So, okay. Right. Right. Let's see what's the best option here. Are we going to go en masse? Or is Leonard going to go his own way?
Hearty
I think
thirsty,
it's best.
Kingatonian.
Yes, it's in big, yeah?
In big, that's the one.
Yeah. You need to go in, you need to go in big.
I was gonna say if
Create a character called En masse.
En masse.
I
Ow.
was gonna say if there is, and if we can find any evidence down there, yes, it's already been sewered, but we wouldn't want to further contaminate it by exposing it to Leonard.
Open sewer, Leonard.
Leonard. It's a bit of a toss-up.
It is. Please don't say that.
Right, is anybody else going to go in the sewer then? Anybody else want to be a Duncan diver?
Let's just stop and think for a moment. Has Brunhilde been in the sewer yet on this adventure that we're in? No. Is she likely to do so now? No. I am very, very short and have only one arm. I am not going in a zoo.
Yes, your swimming would definitely be impaired against the current.
It's the
And more
current you want to worry
importantly-
about in the sewer.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
the current and the
If I
current.
wanted to wave, I'd need like one of them reeds people breathe through.
Well, that's an excellent idea anyway. I mean, if you're going somewhere where there's likely to be poo over your head, then frankly, then having a big reed to breathe through instead of actually breathing the poo would be preferable.
I think
Careful,
we've
The idea is not to go there.
seen the effects of breathing the poo.
Yeah.
Exactly. Breathing the poo sounds like a really bad martial arts move.
It really
I'm
does.
thinking yoga.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
It's the one where you lean forward and mime retching.
Yes.
Good for your posture, apparently.
And the entire yoga class starts to look like the human caterpillar.
Right. Nope, and indeed no.
So, back to the plot.
Please God.
Are you
What?
go.
are you all heading to Giacomo's?
Giacomo Gianchi's.
Or are you splitting up? Or what are you up
I
to?
think we won't necessarily all go in and talk to him, but we will all head there, yes, unless someone has a particular objection to doing so.
Okay.
We want to not get split up and stabbed.
That is a priority, yes. That is a good priority to have.
Which is your bigger priority, not being stabbed or not being split up, which presumably involves hacking with an axe?
On the way, because see people get employed at various bits and bobs, what I'm thinking here, because it seems a bit of a natural progression to me, rat catchers. And rat catchers will often operate in sewers, as you go to the source. While we're
I'm not
travelling
in
to, can I be on the lookout for any kind of people working in the sewer, those council officials as it were?
Yep.
But I'll stay with the group, I just want to keep an eye out for them with the view potentially to go, hold on fellas, let's have a look. Or let me talk to this person.
Absolutely. You can keep an eye out.
Okay.
Mark's been a rat catcher for 10 years, he's never been in a sewer.
Incidentally, Jick, Ratcatcher is a valid career option within Warhammer. So you could
That's what
become a Ratcatcher.
This is what I'm
It's a
thinking.
ranger career.
I think it's because it's a natural progression to go from a beggar to a rat catcher. That's where I'm steering Leonard.
I can so totally see it.
He's just after an infinite supply of easily grillable protein.
I want my small vicious dog, damn it.
Then you want one of Erdit's ferrets if you want a small vicious dog, or close approximation.
If
Yeah,
I'm allowed, I will gladly have one imprint on me now.
So you arrive at Giacomo's place. It's in very much the same state it was before. Sort of small rundown building.
Okay. Yes, this was a reasonable place. All the information inside was nicely kept, but
Yes,
the outside
everything
wasn't that
seemed
great.
to be books. All the tables were just books stacked on other books, and
Yeah. Looks around her bedroom and thinks, I have no idea what that looks like. You put it on a pile of books, which is on top of a pile of books.
Can I have another cup of tea, please?
of course, yes. Anyone
Oh,
else
he
for
sounds
tea?
like Sean Connery.
Yes.
I need to sterilise some instruments and it's hot enough.
Oh, God.
Then
I've
why
been
bother
meaning
with
to-
the tea bag?
I've been meaning to try and find you. I found
Right.
something.
Oh, good.
You asked me about if there was anything specific about your eye colour.
Yes, absolutely,
You have
yes.
beautiful eyes.
That's all sort of gone by the by slightly, so yes. Anything we can find.
Yes, you have beautiful eyes.
Yeah, I'd quite like to keep them in my head, so...
I protect them.
Now, I found a very, very old book. It's mostly hearsay and unsubstantiated and lots of, I suppose you might call them, old wives' tales.
Fair enough.
But the one about the purple eyes, I came across it purely by accident, but, well, I'm trying to find the nice way to say it. Apparently, if you sacrifice someone with your eye colour, it enhances the ability to summon a powerful demon.
Now, was that an in-character, oh bugger, or have you just dropped
But
something?
I didn't come in. I was an out of character, but in response to what is going on in the game.
Ah, right, okay, I suddenly thought the cat knocked your coffee over your
Now,
keyboard or something.
it is an old text. I may have misinterpreted a little, but I've been over it several times, and that's how it reads to me.
No, the way this week has been going, frankly, that's of no surprise to me whatsoever.
I'm ever so sorry to
It's
tell
a
you
book
that.
called The Dummkopf's Guide to Demonology.
So, just out of curiosity, this whole sacrifice, is it that you have to sacrifice somebody with the purple eyes, or is it that you have to sacrifice the purple eyes? Because I'm just trying to decide whether having my eyes plucked out is going to be better or worse than having, my throat ripped out.
It didn't specify.
Oh, good. So, that's down to the chef's decision.
Chef? Someone's being cooked?
Well, for all I know.
Oh, it's butchery.
I had read it to be that the person would be sacrificed. I hadn't even considered that maybe the removal of the eyes would be a thing. Good lord, how brutal.
I
Yes.
think Lenore's just being the one-eyed man leading the blind here. But in all seriousness, are you sure it said demon? Because you know the Lord says no.
Oh yes, it very, very definitely said demon.
Yes.
Summoning
Leonard,
a powerful demon.
Leonard, we can safely say that demons exist, okay? I don't care what the propaganda says. I don't care what anybody else says. If I fought one, it exists, okay?
I just
I'm
point out
in no
why
question.
it is mutants who don't exist.
I'm in no question. I'm just obeying to the Lord's wishes.
No, as Fishy said, that the laws say no mutants exist.
Yeah.
Oh, mutants. Sorry,
Yeah.
I do.
Demons you're okay with, apparently.
Yes.
Ignore Leonard. He's talking out of his proverbial.
He's practicing for his new environment. No, I think Lenore has finally had enough with this whole idea of, sacrifice and things and bits ripped off and eyes plucked out. I think she's now starting to feel a bit victimised with nothing to hit.
You had a few things to hit last time.
I know.
You want to hit some more things now?
She just got warmed up. And
Let's
then,
get back to that having things to hit thing. She
Do you
likes
excuse us for a second?
who?
I'm asking Janchi if he would excuse us as in the party.
Ah,
Of course,
okay.
of course.
Would you like to join me outside with Erdith for a second?
Before we cut to going outside,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to cut to those who are outside. So while the conversation is happening inside with Gianchi,
Before we cut to going outside, I'm going to cut those outside.
so Erdit and Brunhilde, you're waiting outside for whatever conversation might be happening with Leonard, Gianchi, and Lenore. When the sound of fast-moving feet starts echoing around the area. Just one person by the sound of it, but running very, very fast and not worried about making noise. There's a lot of clapping of shoes.
I shall look around and see if I can identify where this fast-moving individual may be.
After a scan around, you very quickly identify a youngish lad who, upon seeing you, starts running specifically in your direction.
I may not be paying enough.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a surcharge for discretion.
I'm just hearing this, and my first thought was beware the beat of the cloth-wrapped feet. When Mummy comes round the corner.
It's
I'm
very,
sure.
very out of breath, lad.
Friend of yours, Brunhilde?
You,
Possibly.
Anna Maria,
No, I'm Brunhilde.
you know her.
Yes, I know her.
I found the right person. She had me looking at one of the fighters you wanted looked at.
Oh, I.
Woman fighter. Greta?
Greta, right.
4 blokes attacked her.
4 blokes.
Yeah, 4 blokes in black.
Did they get her?
No.
Good.
Someone stopped them. And I don't just mean Greta. She put up a fight. She's a fearsome. She's not someone I want. But they took someone else instead.
So, who described the person they took?
Well, it was a person who interfered.
I figured that.
Greta ran off, and they just mobbed on this poor lass that stepped in and took off with her. Yeah, she's about, I suppose about average height, quite pretty, white hair.
Oh, crap. She says from not there.
These assailants.
Can I describe, if I remember rightly, she dressed in a noticeably colourful manner, didn't she?
She was all sort of greens and browns, yeah.
Yeah. So if I describe that and see, did she was she perhaps wearing sort of green and brown?
Yeah, that sounds like it. Do you know her?
Right. Yeah, unfortunately. And they took her. Let me guess. If you saw when they took her down the sewer.
Yeah, they ducked down a back alley, so they didn't get seen. But I followed them without them spotting me. I can show you where they took her down.
Yeah, I was going to say, whereabouts did this take place? Hang on a moment while I get my friends, and then if you could lead us there, that would be grand.
Yes.
Did any of these assailants have furry feet?
What? No. I mean, they were kind of slim, tallish looking humans. Yeah, just like your average human. Hopefully, like I'm going to grow into. But yeah, I mean, they had like stuff over their heads and face so you couldn't see them clearly. It was 4 blokes.
Definitely blokes, though. You wouldn't say any of them were women.
Is somebody speaking from the top of the, I don't know, post office tower or something? 'Cause there's wind noise.
Some wind noise, isn't there?
That might be someone's fan. We've all got a lot of fans going. You could be hearing someone's fan.
My fan's over there and my mic's over there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't happening from my fan when I was holding it right here, it's not going to be when it's over there.
Mm.
Sorry, what was the in-character question? Oh, was I sure they were blokes?
Oh, women. Yes, were any of them possibly women?
Well, I didn't look that closely. I figured they'd attack like that, they'd all be blokes. So I didn't look for, womanly things. I figured they were blokes.
Okay, I can forgive you on that one. That's quite understandable. I shall give this lad a shilling.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just
You
going to
must be
get
running short.
And then I've got 8 gold crowns and 34 shillings left.
Fair enough.
So yes.
And at about the point that you're going to knock on the door to try and extract the others, the door opens. Because they were coming out to meet you.
Yes.
Good timing. We've got to go.
We haven't done yet. What's the problem?
No, but Matilda, was it?
Yeah.
Wrong name. Matilda's been kidnapped by folks that were trying to grab Greta.
Matilda doesn't look anything like Greta.
No, apparently she interfered when Greta were fighting them off. And Greta, and I would like you to do me the honour, should you ever meet her, in one of your looks around. Definitely not illicit activities that may or may not take place. I would like you to kick her where it hurts for me.
Right.
Because she ran away and left him to take Matilda.
Oh, did she now? Right. Okay, yeah.
So this young fella me lad told us?
Well, that's 2 front teeth that will be coming out.
Leonard's just going to drop his cup of tea.
Okay.
You could just have put that down.
Oh,
Okay.
sure. Okay.
Oh, right, okay. Falls in slow motion. No! And everybody takes D6 damage from the scalding
Exploded.
liquid.
Splash damage, yes.
Splash damage and shrapnel.
Yes, if only you knew somebody who was barefoot because they've got feet that are hairy and grow natural leathery soles. Oh, wait, hang on.
Actually, I'm wearing shoes, thank you. The equipment list and everything.
Fair enough.
That's the
Sturdy
second piece
clothes,
of bad news.
including shoes.
Yep.
Right, okay.
That's the second bit of bad news.
Right.
Let's be. We're out of earshot of Janji, bless him, because I don't want him to.
He's now cleaning up your tea.
Right. Let's go then. Do we know where?
This young lad is going to tell us.
Yeah, I'll show you where.
Good.
I'm sorry, Janji. I'm going to give Janji a gold coin, a gold crown.
Thank you so much. Do come back.
I'd
come back again.
I'd wash that in pure alcohol first, as we leg it. Actually, just burn the whole head. Okay. Right, I'm going to follow
Smelt
the
it
kid
and
then.
recast it.
Yep.
No,
It's
you
not illegal.
taint the smeltery.
Where does this young urchin guide us?
Right, he guides you to. It's a fair distance away, but then he was severely out of breath by the time he got to you, so he'd been running for probably the whole time.
Okay.
But he leads you fairly deep into the Tillian area of the old quarter.
There's a shock.
In fact, you're not too far from Repetti's gaff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he points to a manhole. They went down there. They checked, make sure no one was looking, lifted up and went down there. Which...
So
would
they
be
looked no like no one was
approximately-
looking. And you
Well,
watched.
to say it, but Leonard, I think you're the expert.
Approximately there, that arrow have just popped down.
Right. Okay. Yep, Leonard, you're up.
Between Leonard's eyes and Erdit's ferrets, can we find any information?
Right, so down this manhole, right? Okay.
That, of course, is another reason why I will not be going down there. I am not a man.
Neither am
In any, by either definition.
I. I suppose human hole, but that sounds even worse.
Yes, it does.
Don't know how you managed to make it sound worse.
Yet somehow she did.
Sheer skill.
Erdif. Can you get us the
Gutter
map
ferret.
of the old quarter?
Is that his name? Erdif Gutterferret.
Is now.
I'll pull out the old quarter section.
Yep.
Can I correspond kind of where this is on the map and
Yes.
get my bearings? Basically.
Yes, you can. Which is why I stuck it. Which is why I stuck the arrow on this map rather than putting out another map.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just for Leonard's benefit. Let's put it
Yep.
that way, because he thought that, for instance, the tributary going north was going towards the centre. Well, now he knows it's going north. He's got to rethink his bearings. Right. Okay. This is what I recommend we do. We have a bit of a leg-it, and if for folks look on the map, where it goes to the T-junction into the main tributary going out east.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see if there's an entrance near there, because they might be watching this manhole
Right.
to see if anyone followed them, whereas we can cut them off at the pass.
Okay. We're putting our lives, and more importantly, Matilda's life in your hands.
Matilda's lives. What are you assuming about Matilda at this point?
Nothing?
You could suggest maybe further west on that main tunnel, assuming that they're going to be using the main tunnel, because they've got a head start on us.
Mm.
So if
I
we
just
can
don't want-
go...
I don't want them to
Correct.
spot us, or rather me, going in there, because they might have look at us. Whilst we're on our way, we're near Repetti's. Let's let Repetti know that some people on his turf have done it again.
Yeah, I'm not convinced I trust
I
Rebecca.
think- I think perhaps if we're going to do that, then I'm sure this young man will deliver that piece of information for us.
Yes, I think Matilda strikes me as a
Maybe
more...
small consideration from one of you kind people.
I can get a message to Repetti. Yeah, that's fine.
I think Matilda strikes me as a more time-sensitive situation than us toddling off to see Repetti ourselves.
yeah.
So yeah.
Right, I'm going
Right.
to start heading. Well, Len's going to start heading towards the T-junction. He's going to follow the path and see if he can find a manhole or an entrance closer to that T-junction.
Okay.
So when you say T-junction, I assume you're referring to this one here.
Yes.
That's what I assume.
Cool.
So
Okay.
where it flows.
All these
Oh, I wish
arrows.
this pinged.
Yeah.
It-
Pings would be useful. Okay,
No, it's
there's
unlimited.
there's
we'll
there's
have that.
plenty of manholes both on the all along the, not all along the route, but at plenty of points along that route there are
I'll
liftable
pick
manholes to drop
then
down.
the nearest one to the main bit, but still on the tributary.
Okay, that's going to be at the junction. Sorry, the corner just there. That corner.
Yep. Yeah. Is anyone coming with me? As
Yes.
I've asked for some assistance because I'm rather puny to lift the manhole cover.
Lenore will lift the manhole cover.
Lenore's the strong one. I'm not going to ask for Roll to do that. She's pretty beefy. We know this.
No, Lenore is wandering around with strength 4.
5, 4.
4. Oh no, 5. Take it back.
Yeah, I was just saying, I
she's
thought you
taken-
were 5.
Yeah, yeah, she's 5.
I'm going to dive in, as it were.
I'm going to use a ladder.
Descend. Yeah, I'm going to descend into the filth.
Your natural environment.
Is there anywhere nearby that I can acquire waders?
Maybe another time. Matilda's in danger.
Oh,
You're going to have
dear.
to put up with your clothes getting dirty.
Right,
These
fine.
boots will never be the same again anyway.
So who other than Leonard, who's going down into the sewer?
And
I
myself.
will look through the manhole and see whether, since this is a major stream rather than one of the minor ones,
Mm-hmm.
it actually has
Walkways.
walkways along the sides.
This one does.
In that case, I will go down. If there weren't there, I wouldn't have.
Okay. So, down into the sewer. If only I had some sewer sounds queued up, but I don't. Not that it won't be ridiculously loud anyway. So,
I was going to say you don't.
I do, but
Ah,
the levels are all messed up because the browser resets them every time.
It's
I
okay.
have to do a set
That's the
for,
That's the night mutt.
but they're not queued up.
that's the small but vicious dog. That I'm eventually going to get.
There's a rat catcher already down there.
So going down into the sewer, there is indeed a walkway either side of the main channel.
Right. I suggest we split up.
okay.
We can cause more damage that way.
I would suggest the opposite.
Okay. Because the out of character part of me says don't split
Right.
up. Bloody. The in character part of me is thinking split up, but we'll stick
We
together.
don't have anything resembling a ranger at all. Can
No.
we look for signs of their passing despite not?
That's what
Any-
Erdit is for.
Right.
It
And
would
You
help.
want to fake out the information, do you?
Yeah.
It would help if I had something to get a scent from.
My plan is as follows. From where we are, we're going to go towards the main eastern sluice sewer, I don't know what it's called,
Yeah.
right? And then if we can't spot her, we're then going to go back along the tributary, which means at some point there's not going to be these walkways. Right?
At that
Right.
point, I'm not coming with you.
Right. So let's get on. Let's search up towards because we entered at that point where the manhole was.
Yeah.
So there's a very short distance to the main flow,
Oh.
and then we'll swing back.
If nobody else is going to do it, I'm going to search for signs of somebody's passing on the walkways and hope that blind luck will find me.
Yeah.
Right.
Leonard's a bit blinded by trying to find Matilda, not the people, so he's
Let's have a quick look. Night vision and excellent vision. I know that only affects distance technically, but
Yeah.
I'm still willing to give it a shot for Lenore.
So,
What would that come under? Intelligence?
I'm just going to have a look.
Just checking that up.
I believe it's page 66 for standard tests. No, it's
Battle of the
not.
Books.
Yeah.
Turned to the wrong page.
God, I'm glad I found my fan.
Would this be a search check?
This would be a search check, yes.
To find something? So that's based on initiative, which makes Brunhilde bleeding good at it.
Oh, shall we get?
Let's.
Searches must be conducted item by item. Walls, floors, and other like surfaces are searched at a rate of 9 square yards or 9 yards length corridor per minute. Anything not deliberately hidden will be uncovered by a search automatically.
Right.
Deliberately hidden items are uncovered if it makes it a successful test against initiative.
Okay. So, test against initiative, Fishy.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I just got it.
Make a roll against them.
Yeah, you did.
So I will have to actually just make a percentile roll.
So, yes, made it by 21, in fact.
Roll. Oh, that's not so very good.
No.
No. Even with my impressive initiative, 75 does not do it.
Ouch. However, 24 did mine.
Yeah. So, Brunhilde, you can't tell if there's any tracks this way or not. Lenore, they didn't come here. Nothing's passed.
Right. This is... I hesitate to say this is clean, but it's certainly clear of any footprints. They must have gone the other way.
Right, back along the tributary then. Tom, start
When
waving.
you say gone the other way,
Yes, well, gone a different way anyway. They didn't come this way.
you mean didn't come here, yeah. Or they just didn't bother to get out of the muck, since they were coming through muck already before they got here.
To be honest, I would have thought there'd be more sloshing up the sides of the channel if something had waded through.
Possibly. I'll take your word for that. I'm not an expert on slosh.
No, but I've been down here, what, 3 times now?
Aye.
It's
On that
sloshy.
suggestion,
Definitely
Leonard's
sloshy.
going to step into the stream.
Oh,
That's the nicest way I can put it. And he's got a long stick.
God, he has bare feet.
So you know how I can't think of the term for it, but there is when you're blind, you have a stick out in front of you and you
And
pass
you're
it.
just sort of
Probing.
feeling for
Yeah,
probing. That's a good
and
word.
basically perform that kind of action with the stick ahead of me as I'm walking back along towards the tributary.
So Leonard has launched a class 1 probe.
Yeah. So you generally don't want to be around when Leonard launches probes.
Getting into the terminology for when I run Star Trek. So.
Yeah, so like passing it back and forth. That's also bad. I apologise. Searching where I can't see
So,
up the stream.
tracking your way back, the walkways. This is as the tributaries go. This is presumably one of the bigger ones because the walkways go all the way back to your point of entry.
Oh,
Right.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna
And
have
then
another
further
look for
back
tracks.
to the point of entry that the assailants made. There are still walkways right back at that.
so they
Oh.
T-junction.
At any point anyway.
In that case, I'm going to have a go at seeing any tracks
Yeah,
from here.
We'll
I'd
have
like to-
another go down here.
Yeah.
I'll check for some tracks as well towards the direction that. Yeah, they're more likely to be.
33 is less than my 62 initiative.
Excellent.
Good God. 2.
Bloody hell, Lenore.
Going to do the job.
Obviously, that extra few inches of elevation and the keen vision and night vision, and I am not fooled by shifting patterns of
It's
dark.
the
crap.
purple eyes, clearly. It's the purple eyes.
Yeah.
That's it. Those purple eyes, they're kind of scary.
Yes, this is it. She's now wandering around with her laser eyes. She's sorted. Ding, ding, ding.
So, both Brunhilde and Lenore. Erdit, did your roll make it or not?
Yeah, that passed by 2.
Excellent. So, in that case, all 3 of you identify tracks leading in. How best to do this? Stick another arrow in. Start from here in that direction.
You can tell he's an archer. He's into arrows all over the place.
Is there enough on like the tracks in the trail for Compass to get a sense.
Ooh. Difficult to tell because there's a lot of strong aromas down here.
Indeed, but a lot of strong aromas that are very different from people aroma.
Didn't Leonard nick Matilda's handkerchief?
Yeah.
Yes,
she
he
gave it
did.
to me with the
Yes.
medication.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you still have it?
He
Oh,
hasn't
give it up.
specifically gotten rid of it.
I didn't specifically get rid of it.
So we'll assume yes.
Yeah.
A little bit reluctant to hand it over.
Give it up or she dies?
Bring the ferret here.
You'll
Bring
get it
forth the
back
sacrificial
afterwards.
ferret.
I will hold the
This is a
handkerchief.
non-invasive technique. The ferret merely eats and then excretes the handkerchief. It doesn't damage it, however.
Just like civet coffee. Anyway,
Oh my god.
Who first thought, I know, these beans are a bit hard, I'll see what happens after my cat craps them out.
I dread the thought.
Seriously.
yeah, so I'm gonna keep. Leonard is not letting go of the handkerchief.
Yep.
Especially not now. But he will happily proffer it so that a ferret can have a whiff.
Look,
Okay.
Bear in mind,
Leonard,
it's been on Leonard's person.
I mean, we can give it a go, can't we? What do I roll for divination again?
Divination is done under intelligence.
Oh, fantastic. Yay! It is too smelly.
No.
Well-
Even with your bonus for being a divinator,
It's,
that's not sufficient, unfortunately. So,
unfortunately, Leonard's stench seems to have knocked poor little Compass out here. We're going to end for this one.
yes, indeed, Compass gets a good old whiff of the handkerchief,
And probably part
and then then just stands there looking up at Leonard, or sits there.
I know I'm always good with animals.
Look, would it
in ferrets.
help if one of Compass's siblings, or possibly children, I've seen what goes on in that bag, lays down their squeaky little life for another shot?
Oh dear. Well, we could try it. Where's the map?
Are we seriously standing here discussing sacrificing a ferret?
In a sewer.
Yes.
While that's going
Could we
on,
not just walk that way?
Well, yes, we could.
I'm assuming the tracks have been pointed out.
Could we perhaps walk that way while you decide whether or not you're gutting a ferret?
I mean, I could squeeze a ferret over the map and see where it lands, but the issue is, I don't want to damage the map too much.
Animal cruelty? Nah, you're fine. I don't want to wreck the map.
Twist of lemming, sir?
Right, let's just follow the path and see what happens.
I'm going to, in this exchange, I'm just going to stroke Compass.
You and me both, Chrono. You and me both.
Oh, yes. Make it 3.
But yeah, with the tracks pointed out, I'm going to follow the tracks.
Okay.
Meanwhile, and this is where instead of kind of like just searching, I have concealment urban,
Excellent.
which I've used before. So what I'm thinking is to see if I can see, like, look out for concealed entrance ways and things like that, things that we wouldn't otherwise
Okay.
spot.
I'm going to keep the map out and track our routes, or the piece that's relevant to the area we're in, and see whether there's anything marked on the map that doesn't appear to be there in the sewerway, or anything in the sewerway that doesn't seem to be marked on the map.
Now, it will slow you down if you're actively looking for signs of hidden doors, entrances, whatever. Because obviously
yeah, I mean,
you're...
Leonard's reconciling that in that having found tracks, he now thinks he's not looking for a body. Because the reason he went and chased off at the T-junction was that's where the flow is, that's where the body would go.
I'm not 100% convinced we're looking for a hidden door.
No.
if it were hidden, it wouldn't matter if anybody had a map that showed it wasn't supposed to be there. Just being hidden is suspicious enough already.
Unless you don't know it's hidden.
Something, on the other hand, something that should be closed off and is actually open, that's worth, destroying maps for.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's
Right.
just go.
Leonard, can you please roll me a search check, which is done under intelligence, I believe.
Initiative, wasn't it?
Initiative, sorry. Initiative, yes. I knew it began with an I.
Oh dear.
Okay. Cool.
Well, Leonard fails to find anything, but does travel through time.
And see some serious shit.
Yeah.
Which is...
Yes. In fact.
Yeah, instead of leaving like streaks of flame, there's streaks of something else.
Oh.
You do not want flame and sewer in the same place.
Exactly.
Because the methane would be bad.
No.
So you follow the tracks. Along the way, Leonard does not spot anything that looks like it might be a hidden entrance or anything. But the tracks then stop at a archway in the wall, not following the line of the sewer. There's an archway in the wall that looks like it should have had not only a grate put into the concrete around it, but also should have been concreted up behind the grate. The remnants of the grate are there, and you can see where the concrete has been hewn out.
We may have a winner.
So we're facing southwards.
You are currently... Oh, bugger, I put that the wrong way around. See if I can turn that around. There we go. There.
Right, so the sewer that we're in faces southwards. Is this east or west?
So the building is on the west side of that sewer.
Okay, so it's
So
going,
we're right if we're heading south.
it's going
Okay.
back into town as opposed to away from right. Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to. Is this area marked on the map?
The area itself is, but the door, the archway isn't.
So
Okay, and the area beyond.
And we'll
The
start
area beyond the archway is on the map, right?
the area beyond the archway is not on the map. No.
Fantastic. I would like to make small additional notations.
Okay.
Please use a pencil.
While he's doing that,
This joke
The
doesn't
north.
work properly in this game because it's the wrong game system, but as a free action, I'd like to be smug.
Lenore, while
Smug
he's
mode
doing that,
initiated.
is going to stick her head through the gap and look and see if she can see or hear anything, sounds of screaming, that sort of thing.
No sounds of screaming.
That's worrying.
But the corridor goes off a ways and then turns.
Yeah.
So
Why would they be screaming? Didn't you hear? They've got mushroom cuppa soup.
Well, no, we had to resort to mushroom cuppa soup because all the good stuff had gone.
Yeah, they've got better.
the chloroform's all
Right.
gone. Someone's bought every pharmacist out of chloroform.
Yeah. Right.
There won't be a single green plant in the whole of Middenheim. No, it's not that.
All comes down to gardeners, doesn't it? Right. Okay.
So if we
You carry on.
yeah, Gardener's question time.
You carry on with the notes if you must. I'm going to see if I can find Matilda. And in fact, everybody else. Anybody else coming?
Sorry, does the water
Water
continue? Is there water still?
No, this is connected to the walkway.
Right.
So the liquid, I hesitate to call it water, the liquid that runs through the sewer does not extend into this corridor.
Right, in which case I'm going to get my stick and use it as a walking stick instead. It
I'm
might be a bit
going
mucky on one end.
I'm going to hope there's any light down here.
Only that which you brought with you.
I believe I
The,
have
the
that
light
option.
that is coming in from the street to the sewer disappears fairly soon after up this corridor because there is no street light going up this corridor.
I'm just checking my items. I believe I don't have torches at all.
Okay, does night vision give true dark vision?
No.
One of you with rule book. because we looked it up before and got surprised, but I can't remember in which direction we got surprised. It might just add to my normal vision length.
I believe
It
is that.
adds to the distance that you can see in the dark, certainly. It will add to, for example, a torch will
Yeah.
give you X distance. Your night vision is added on top of that. I don't think it lets you see
No.
in pure darkness, but I would
In
double
absolute darkness, there is nothing.
Perhaps,
In which case I'll continue to use my seeing eye stick.
perhaps we could use Brunhilde's vast quantity of shillings to set up an elaborate mirror system.
Nice try.
Perhaps we could, as I suggested, just set fire to a ferret.
Mobile light source, if nothing else.
Aye, it's the light source that follows you. You don't need to hold it.
They don't tend to last long.
Well, no, but you've
How
got...
long have you done this?
I think the ferret will last for as long as it lives.
Considerably longer, probably, but
Well, yeah.
they're more like the ferret flares, aren't they? But no,
Oh, dear
we're not
Lord.
doing that. And unfortunately, I don't have any torches.
As a party of
Uh,
adventurers, does anyone have any torches in their gear?
No, but I have a stick.
We're not that sort of party of adventurers.
Clearly not. Well, no. You were mercenaries looking to hire yourselves out as sellswords.
Does
Yes.
anybody at least have a flint and steel?
Double check.
No. Okay, we've got a stick. I've got a cloak.
Right,
I'm willing to sacrifice a chunk of my.
but we still need a flint and steel.
Okay, we've got stonework and a sword.
We have
you
some-
make
have a
your
bottle of
makeshift
rock
torch then.
Yeah.
I'll try and set fire to this leaflet, this pamphlet, and then we can use it to light your torch.
Why don't you, and you're going to hate me for this, increase the flammability of your pamphlet by rubbing it in the dried poo on the side of the walkway?
Because that's a bloody daft idea.
So you think it smells bad now?
I was thinking because it's more likely to catch fire.
Right, honestly, we're in a sewer.
I am unconvinced by your reasoning.
Right then, okay, I will hack. Well, I won't hack actually because you don't hack with this sword. I will slice the bottom foot off my cloak and use it, knot it, and wrap it around the end of the stick.
Okay.
And I am taking the stick off him.
You're taking my stick.
Yes.
I've got a better idea. How about, and I'll pull out the bottle of Rocker, stick the cloth in that, and light that.
That's a Molotov cocktail, not a torch.
But it'd be like a lantern.
No, it would be like a Molotov cocktail.
Well, then we throw the Molotov cocktail, and it will light the way ahead of us.
That's not how it works.
I
Give
need
me your
my
stick.
I don't want to lose my stick.
I'm taking his stick.
Are you resisting Lenore taking your stick?
There's no point in me resisting her taking the stick.
So Lenore now has a shitty stick with a rag on the end.
I have a strength of 2. It won't go well for me.
No, it won't.
Let's redefine that. It is a Leonard tainted stick.
Yeah, Leonard's tainted
I
shitty
have
stick.
gloves.
There's
I
no
will be
stuff on one
burning
end.
them.
What end are you grabbing
Yeah.
it by?
Grabbing it sort of towards the top and pulling. I am stripping Leonard of his stick.
You'd be better off grabbing the bit
Please,
that's in the sewer
please
and
never
let
say
Leonard
the
hit
line, I am stripping Leonard, ever again.
Right, okay. Did you say something about the knotted part of the cloak, Fish?
Is once Lenore is actually knotting the cloak onto
Yeah.
the stick, so that she is getting close to being ready,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will I will have to hold a pamphlet between my teeth because I have only one arm.
Would you like me to hold it, Brunhilde?
No.
How about I douse the cloth in the
You're
rock gut?
busy fighting Lenore.
I gave it up after the words didn't work.
Yes.
I did not resist.
Actually,
Would you like me to pour some rock gut onto the cloth?
a little bit.
No.
Oh no, okay.
All right then. Oh no, I mean it's your cloth. There's nothing to do with
Yeah,
it.
it's more
Well,
likely to
okay.
You
catch.
can
No,
dip the tip of the cloth into the rock gut.
Yes, all right. Just sprinkle it, okay?
I'll put a little bit in my begging bowl, and then you can just dip it in.
Oh God, it's getting worse.
Alright, so it's got something flammable on the cloth.
Yes.
I will take my knife and attempt to strike a spark off the stone walls.
Yeah.
Chink,
Did you say there was a
chink,
grating
chink,
here?
chink. No, there's the remnants of a grating.
Yeah,
And
the
I've never
remains of the
tried
grating are still going to be the remains of iron.
Which might work better than the stone, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You could scrape it down there.
Plan, in fact, than holding a pamphlet in my teeth. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of squat so that I can clutch the pamphlet between my knees and then try and make a strike with my one hand.
Right, it's noisy.
Yep.
You're scraping metal against metal. It is noisy.
I don't give a monkeys. They want to do this, so we'll do this.
But after a few minutes of furious scraping between your knees, you have had sufficient spark to ignite your pamphlet.
Right. Drop the knife, I'll pick it up again in a moment, and immediately take the pamphlet so that I'm holding.
Yeah, I will dip it towards.
Essentially,
Right,
that I
yeah.
can
The
use
knife
for
dropped, I'm
light
going to pick it
report.
up.
Don't touch her knife.
And lo and behold, you now have a makeshift torch.
And I'll proffer the knife back to Brunhilde.
Brunhilde
we
will
are-
look at me for a little while. But eventually just shrug and take it.
Right, I'm going to give Leonard his stick back. You can hold that.
We have
I'll hold the stick.
no torches, no rope, no
Well, you have a torch now.
proper. We're the best adventurers.
We have.
We're people who pitched up looking for professional fights. We're
Yeah.
not actually
Yeah.
adventurers.
We
Oh,
are
I
not
think-
engineers.
So,
I was there too.
in true
Might have
dungeoneering
people
style,
watching the fight.
Yeah.
can I please have a running order? Or marching order?
Party order. Just
Logically, Lenore at the front.
just have a party sheet. I don't think it does it?
No.
And Leonard should be behind us to make sure no one follows.
That's a shame, because the rule sets that have a party sheet, that has a marching order space on it, so you can actually put the character tokens
Yeah.
into the party sheet. It's really, really useful.
Yeah, sadly this one doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a shame.
then we'll go at the back.
Okay, so we have Lenore, and then who's after Lenore? Is it Brunhilde or is it Erdit?
Unless Erdit specifically wants to go there, I will say Brunhilde, and I will have swapped to my sling.
Sensible. Brunhilde, the only one with the functioning brainstem in this entire group today.
Hey,
You know,
If Brunhilde had a functioning brainstem, she wouldn't be here.
you know, like a boom mic, where it's held out.
Yes.
Leonard's going to hold it out like that, but at an angle, so it's going diagonally in front of him.
Right, you may have,
Absolutely.
given that as it stands,
Bad idea.
you'd be practically running that into Erdit's head. He is the tallest of you and right in front of you.
Yeah, don't do
yes,
that.
perhaps if Brunhilde goes behind me, then we have the appropriate angle.
Oh, so set fire to my hair instead, that'll be fine.
Or just hold it upright. It'll be fine.
Gorilla, I've got big hair.
I was going to try and light a bit ahead of where I currently am.
I know, that's what I'm worried about, is you're liking a big hair.
If your hair's on fire, you'll be able to see.
Just keep it vertical, because otherwise bits of cloth will drop off and catch fire. Well, set fire to things. The
As it
things
stands,
being
bits will fall off and set
friends.
fire to me.
And then everybody wins.
And nothing of value was lost. Right.
So, following this corridor,
Yeah.
it twists. It goes a long way. You're walking for a good while
Okay.
through various twists and turns. As you're walking, you can see other would-be corridors that would have connected to it that remain bricked off, concreted off.
Right. No open alternate paths.
Not until you get to what I shall term the end of the corridor,
Okay.
where there is the remnants of a grate,
Mhm.
as you saw at the other end. You can see that they have again hewn out what would have been the bricked up archway,
Mhm.
and there is a big, heavy wooden door in place. This looks like a solid oak door
Right.
Can we burn it?
that is
No.
steel reinforced. It's
Bloody
got steel
hell.
banding across the door.
Right. How high are the corridors here?
The corridor, until you get to the archway, the corridor is probably about 8 feet high. The door at the archway where the
Okay.
doors are, it's shorter, to 6 feet.
Right. Okay. So yeah, my decision to go with the one-handed sword is probably my best bet anyway. Okay. I'm gonna try the door.
And that's where we're going to wrap up for the evening.
That's what I thought.
I want to burn the door.
Oh, how plaintive is that?
I want to burn the door.
I will burn the door. I'm probably
Perhaps,
going to get electrocuted by demons.
It's fine if there are demons in there. We can just hope that they're dormant.
Ooh.
Ow.
I know, it was awful,
That was
and I
bad.
apologise.
So I hope you've enjoyed this evening. Thank you all ever so much. And I owe you some XP. Because this is session 5 and you haven't as yet had any experience points.
Oh my god, you're right.
So what I will do, I've been making a few notes, but I will issue them at the start of the next session.
Okay.
So I can put this session's in as well.
Cool.
Yep, cool.
I meant to do it at the start of this session, we got wrapped up in tech issues and whatnot. So I will issue XP at the start of the next
At
session.
the start of next session, so that I can immediately spend 100 of them getting +10 to my ballistic skill before I have to use this damn sling.
Absolutely. And don't let me forget.
I'm just looking at wounds. I have 2 wound advancements I can take. It's just
300
a thought.
XP would be great. That'd give me a +10 to ballistic skill and +2 to wound.
Well, given that the average is, between 30 and 100 XP per session,
Per session.
plus
Well,
roleplay
I might be
awards
able to
and
get
other
it, yeah.
sorts, and we've done 5 sessions that you two have been here for.
Yeah.
That there's going to be, at least 150 XP?
Yeah.
If
That
I'm being
works.
realistic, I should really put my first 100 XP into a fellowship increase, because that's the thing I've done most is talk.
On the other hand,
But I really, really want that ballistic skill improvement.
yes.
And you never know, it might come in handy based on what might be the other side of the door.
Yeah.
I'm quite sad actually that I didn't realise when the last game was and log on from France, because I think I just would have done decent, throwing some bets in on the fights.
Yes, yeah, it was a shame you weren't there.
Yeah. Yes. Life happens.
Kind of had to do the Erdit job, and it's not Brunhilde's job,
Yeah.
so she wasn't great at it, but she made a bit of money.
Yeah.
Is this another case of Zelda wasn't there, but nothing of value was lost?
Nothing really of value was won either, unfortunately. That's the problem. Okay,
So,
right.
thank you all ever so
thank you for
much
that,
for
Mike.
playing. Hope everyone that was watching has enjoyed it.